going to implement a couple of house rules that I feel are just kind of obvious good modifications that everyone would like. The first of which is that potions are now a bonus action to drink, not feed, but drink at any level. So don't have to worry about level 10 anymore. So drinking a potion is a bonus action. The second is I will now be encouraging I won't do this all the time so that there isn't any potential abuse of it. But if there's ever downtime, if you ever have any solo activities to do, I will be highly motivated to award inspiration to those folks and fellows who bring someone along with them to encourage a little party unity, even when sometimes it can't be helped, but when it can be, it's always nice to bring a friend. But yeah, that's all.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, guys. Are we ready to come back to Lyrengorn? Let's do this.
Yeah, show us that screen.
All right. Yes. Thank you. I was going to, I promise. And I have the music because things aren't quite as peaceful as Spotify is trying to convince you it is. I'm going to move you guys across my screen to make you all look prettier, anyway. Oh, by the way, I got problems with some of you. Some people put some very low ratings for how pretty I am on the review. I will find you.
That was hilarious.
I was just kind of, just kidding. Anyway, okay, let's hop to it.
I forgot what was happening. I forgot this is what was happening.
Yeah, bad things. Bad and good things. You all attended, it's a little intense over here. You all attended the Witchlight Carnival and had a great time there, and that great time was immediately juxtaposed by a time. As you guys made your way to the Airy and met with the the Crescent Conclave and its various members, you watched the Moonweaver's ribbon ceremony commence. Beautiful, awe-striking performances from the Wyvern Riders, and also the ceremonies of the High Priestess of the Moon as well. Luckily, thanks to Zarvog's weapon of warning, you were all warned ahead of time as an assassination attempt was made, and you all managed to foil it to a man. It was, they're gonna be like, damn, we're glad they were here. That's what the Crescent Conclave is probably thinking right now. You managed to halt this assassination. Not even a single member of the Conclave, nor any of their plus ones, were harmed in any way, thanks to your They were very impressed. They thanked you for your aid, and as these sort of glowing red, monstrous denizens began to sort of sail into Lyrengorn and cause havoc, the basically Crescent Conclave member who's responsible for the hunt, he went to go rally his hunters and go to the furthest one, and asked you all to go to the Sky Swimmer Arena and cut off the second. You all did this. Had a little altercation with some drow on the streets, but made your way to the very complex arena and did great and terrible battle with this entity, which you all presume to be this lightless one that Yvaine has been dealing with. It seemed to speak similar rhetoric and certainly had a lot of eyes it had collected, it seems, over time. And even took some of your eyes during the battle, but you got them back. In the wake of the battle, Elemental coming in WWE style, slammed through in the last moment the enemy, and in desperation, it sought someone to make an escape through. Recognizing it could not get away, it needed to make a underhanded gesture. It managed to just skirt away from Finch, having that was brutal, and I'm sorry about that as a reminder. And managed to skirt away from Finch and actually plunge itself into the very body of Beverly, possessing her. And that is where we pick up today. So, yes, Yvaine. You made it.
I had a question about what that meant.
Like, we'll figure that out.
Okay.
Do you all want to get to Beverly? Okay.
Yeah.
So to start, we're going to say that a lot of you are very hurt. I'm going to say Zarvog is going to make sure Fenn's okay, and he's like, go. And all of you run up to the stands where Beverly fell as that creature sort of flew at it and very Ghostbusters, Neo going into Agent Smith at the end of the movie, flew right into her chest, and she fell to the ground. So all of you are going to make your way there. I'm gonna prop you all there so we can set the scene real good. Yvaine, we got Glint, we got Finch, we got Ember. Nalys will go there as well because he's just a swell guy like that, or person like that. I'm gonna change the music because things are definitely taking a different tone. It is worth noting that these pulses that were coming from the High Priestess that were symbolizing sort of the Moonweaver's power flowing out of her, that were halted by the presence of your enemy, have sort of pushed past now. They move past Beverly and start like realming outwardly towards Lyrengorn again. And it seems that the ceremony has been allowed to progress and is doing so currently. You all gather around Beverly. Is there anything initial anyone wants to do? She's just kind of laying there at that moment. Maybe she's like, I'll see that there's like slight, like almost like she's in a waking dream. She's kind of like sort of like.
She's not like, she doesn't look like she's unconscious, right?
Make me a medicine check.
Ooh, okay. 17.
17. This. 17. It's difficult to say. She's not unconscious. It's almost like she is like half like trying to wake up in a way, and her body's sort of contorting. Obviously, she's not dealing with something here that is actually biologically wrong with her. There is something sort of arcane, mystical, supernatural wrong with her, and her body is jolting like it would be if like there was poison or was like trying to like upheave. It's like the body is like trying to eject whatever's inside of her, and she's just sort of writhing around at the moment.
I think Finch, as they were heading over there, because I think Finch was under the influence of the fly spell. So like I think they probably would have like, as like that thing was like making its way towards Beverly, I think in that movement like Finch would have probably like tried to, you know, maybe swing and miss and then like go after it, but like, you know, kind of like just out of like that like fingertips reach, and probably be like the first person to like Beverly's body. So they'd probably like slide into like the deck and like try and like scoop her up and like be like cradling her or trying to like comfort her and like I guess like kind of consoling her. If you said that she's like not convulsing, but like, you know, kind of struggling.
Yeah, and we'll definitely say that Finch, you're there within seconds. Glint, I'll say you're next again within seconds because of your fly spell, and then everybody else. Ember will probably be next because he's just got to run around, but everybody else has to do like an active climb or go through the stands. So you guys are going to be a little bit behind, but not too far behind. I imagine you're kind of hoofing it. So yeah, Finch, you're there. You show up there, Glint. She's just kind of in your arms, and she's kind of just kind of revolting against herself, almost like her body's fighting itself in a way.
How familiar would Glint be with what's happening here?
Make me a religion check.
Okay, I'm gonna.
And you may go for one as well, Finch, because you are a paladin, and this is probably part of what you were trained for. I'm just gonna say you're not quite there yet, Yvaine.
That's what I want to know. Yeah.
So I, using a charge on the Puzzler's Whip Rings, I rolled with advantage. I rolled a natural 19 and then a natural 20.
They rolled a natural 20 as well.
Fuck yeah, high five. 29?
Yeah, okay. Okay, easy. All
right, so you really want to know. Okay, I got it.
I get it. So Finch, as a paladin, like clerics are, I almost like to think like clerics are sort of like the defensive of the faith. They stay in the churches, they spread the faith, they talk to their god, they commune with the god. They're sort of power conduit for the god. Whereas the paladin is like the will of the god in exchange. So they are the one who goes out into the world and brings good to the world, and tries to bring the dogma to the world and make the world a better place for their god. And that's what you do. And in part of your paladin training would have been possession, undead, especially undead influence for a
yeah.
paladin to know about. And you, Glint, this is your whole area of expertise. You're a necromancer. So between the two of you, you know that she is possessed. You don't know this creature is very unusual. It's not. It had ghost-like qualities. So much like a ghost, she is possessed. She is incapacitated in this moment, and you expect that basically the entity is like taking control of her body, and it's going to take seconds to achieve. This is not permanent, however. There are ways around this. I assume that's part of what you would like to know with your checks.
Yeah.
For dual nat 20s, I'll say between there's a number of ways to deal with this. There's a very, very powerful spell used by like major clerics called Dispel Evil and Good. In fact, when there are major possessions happening, usually the high cleric of the area is brought in to deal with it. But there are other ways to try and help resist it. Protection from evil and good can help the person possessed to like take another shot at it, maybe with a little bit extra help. Basically, this is a matter for the divine. This is a matter for divine spells to see if they can push the entity out of the body. So take a look through your spell lists, but this is very much a sort of cleansing divine thing needed. And you know what? I'll tell you what. For your nat 20s, I'll give you this one more thing. This ceremony of the Moonweaver isn't just like, we love the Moonweaver or whatever. It does have a divine purpose. This is a cleansing ceremony. You don't know how powerful this entity is, but there's a chance that the actual completion of the ceremony within the next minute or two or more might help the situation.
I could make use of a protection spell for her if it helps. She would have to be willing, so it has to be fast. Would you like me to try?
Yeah, anything. Try anything.
Okay. If she's a willing target, Glint is going to try and lay protection from evil and good onto Beverly.
Beverly. This is the tricky part because Beverly isn't Beverly right now.
Yeah.
Well, if it helps any, once Ember arrives, he has every intention of over the course of some of the recent downtime, I've burned off 50 pieces of silver. I have ceremony. I have 2 vials of holy water with me.
That's good.
It could be taken internally.
I just don't have the spell. I don't have the
I
spell.
have Misty Step and a boon from Bahamut. So, like, I think we've got.
I think
here.
I don't even know if we need to call on any boons right now. I mean, we all do, right?
So I will say because she's possessed, like Beverly herself would be willing, but Beverly's asleep right now for all intents and purposes for possession. You cast a spell upon her. It's tricky. I'm gonna rule of cool it in this moment and say that the spell it won't connect, but it will give her a renewed chance to end the possession and will give her the advantage that's normally applied for protection. So she's not willing, but I'll give her the extra shot.
Awesome.
Worth a try.
You place it on her and it disperses rather quickly. The will of this creature is intense, and Beverly is just like a little. She's not a full paladin, not a full knight yet. I'll say at this point, yes, Ember, Yvaine, and Nalys will get there as well. And I'll say, like, as you all arrive there in that moment, she'll kind of open her eyes and look at you, Finch, and they are dark holes, nothing inside of them. And she'll blink, and there will be green eyes, and she'll blink, there'll be snake eyes, and she'll blink, and they're gone again. And she will sort of, like, rise up out of your hands into the air. You all arrive in this moment. She sort of, like, spins, like, very slowly, like, carousel spins in the air and kind of...
Can I, like, go... Can I, like, because am I still under the influence of the fly spell? Can I go after her to try and, like, restrain her?
You can if you want. She floats up to about 5 feet and just kind of like spins there. So yeah, you can grab onto her if you want. Make an athletics check.
Okay. Let's see.
I will say, with the protection from evil and good, this shouldn't stop you from being able to get up 5 feet, but the flight spell will be ending as concentration shifts.
Yeah, you can still reach her though. She's not going higher than 5.
Yeah.
That's a 22.
22. Yeah, you grab on. Like she's sort of like, this is full like the grudge situation.
Exorcist.
She's like exorcist, like floating around in circles in the air. You like grab on her like her leg and her arm to stop her from floating around. Ember, I heard something about holy water.
Yep.
You wanna spray her with it?
I'll douse her with one, and if Finch has control of her and she's not like trying to swallow her tongue, we'll feed her one as well.
Oh right. You spray her with one, and she sort of screeches in pain. Could you roll me the or I'll look it up. It's fine.
It's 2d6 radiant.
Yeah, go for it. Roll it up.
10 points.
Beverly will take 10 points. You will. Well, actually, I'll say my nat 20 people know that although it looks like Beverly's being hurt, it isn't actually Beverly being hurt. It's the spirit within her that's being hurt. And so, but like as Ember sprays her, it immediately like boils and steams off of her body, and she starts screeching. And despite this, like she isn't actually wounded from it. So you expect that it is hurting the thing that is inside of her. And she will sort of like right herself, almost ragdoll-like, and her skin will begin to change. Will sort of meld, almost like dripping off of her, into like this gray shape, and then will sort of reform into we'll say like a mini Nalys Ildareth. And we'll sort of like look at you and perfectly, it'll be in Yvaine's voice, but backed with this like psychic.
That like the double talk voice? Yeah.
The double talk voice, yeah, it has that evil voice behind it, but it's Yvaine's voice. It says, "What an interesting creature you have taken unto yourself. My, how odd. How I would wish to inhabit this one longer. Ha ha." And then it sort of begins to like, the skin melds again, the eyes like melt, and will sort of like turn into you, Finch, and be like, "Did you know you travel with the Fae? How interesting. How it can change its shape at will. Were you even aware of this?" Looks back at you, Yvaine, shifts its face to look like Ember. "We could be such good friends. The things I could tell you all." Looks at you, Glint, melding the face into, we can't see his face, so back into Beverly, we'll say. And it says, learn much from one another.
I have one thing I would like to try, and this is purely a flavor thing.
Okay.
So this is either, from what we can tell or guess, the eyeless one or a servant therein. And it's very much a sight-related entity in that respect. It wants our eyes. It takes our eyes. It has the little eye beams.
Yeah. It's changing its face, but every time Beverly blinks, the eyes change, either leaving the socket entirely or different eyes. Like the face changes every time she changes, but every blink changes the eyes. Like there's an obsession with the eyes.
Glint wants to reach out a hand and basically like prick his thumb, smear the blood down into a rune on the palm, and just reach up towards it and cast blindness.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. What am I rolling? A con, I believe?
I believe it is a con save, DC 17.
Oh, I think Beverly's not quite as strong as you are, my friend. In that moment, how to describe it? It's like blinking at you, and then you hit the eye of Beverly, and Beverly sort of, or this creature sort of, and sort of like,
You could make this house very unwelcome for you. And you
It's
would not welcome.
your... Would you kill your own apprentice? Your own friend? To get to me, you'll have to pierce her. Yeah, you give him another one, Ember? Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Roll me two. All right, roll me some 2d6.
11.
11. All right, let's see how we're doing. She screeches again in pain. And starts like convulsing again, as if the body's like fighting back, like pretty hard. You get the sense that its hold on Beverly is like intensely weak at this point, due to the holy water, especially. And she's sort of like, and looks at you again, Vivian, and says, like, well, doesn't look at you, she's blinded, but says, "We were so powerful once. Why change a good thing? I saved you. I saved you. You called to me and now you spit on me."
We made a deal. I kept my end, you kept yours. If you wanted more, you should have bargained for more.
And we'll sort of just like hiss at you. Does anyone have anything else? Does anyone have anything in the immediacy to do?
So I have holy water too. So if I'm seeing that what Ember is doing is working, I'm gonna do the same, and I'm gonna pour another one down her throat.
You sort of like, you got her grappled, so you like rip her around and you like uncork the bottle, and it goes, now, and you shove the bottle in her mouth and like push her head back, and there's like, and so it's like screeching in pain. Actually bites down and breaks the vial in her mouth, and all the shards of glass go into her mouth, and she starts like basically gargling glass. It's not a good scene. But the holy water goes inside, starts steaming out of the mouth, almost like a dragon, and so breathing in agony. And you're going to see sort of writhing out of the mouth, sort of pulling the glass out with it, is this snake-like entity with all of the many eyes across the back, sort of rips itself from Beverly's mouth up into the air, kind of flays out its giant pincer-like arms and legs again. All the eyes begin to start rotating around it again in a tornado, and as it hisses out, there is a final wave from the completion of the ceremony, and much like as if the Moonweaver ribbons, much like a tide, seem to almost flow down the Elven Peak side and wash through the city in a great torrent, and it brushes past all of you in a beautiful culmination of magnificent aurora lights. But in this moment, it washes away the aberrant entity as if it were fish in a stream, and it sort of like almost like tries to grab onto Beverly's body, and then is like ripped away and goes flying out of the city as if washed away by a great and holy deluge that is the lights of the Moonweaver. And Beverly falls to a heap on the ground, bleeding out the mouth a bit. But in this moment, she becomes a different person. Her skin goes completely white. Her eye sockets are like black, almost like she has really, really, really heavy eyeshadow. And her hair goes long and white, and she lays there. But her bone structure is very thin. She's not the same individual physically that you knew before. Yes, you may.
I should still have chalice going. Can I put my hands on her and heal her?
I was going to do the same.
Ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Actually, wait, give me 10 minutes.
As we all jump in to heal her at once.
Well, I can hit.
Yeah, we're all like,
I can hit all of you all.
Right.
Because I actually took prayer of healing.
I was going to say.
Awesome.
Oh.
Hey, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
So, let me tick that off.
Does she look like she has time to wait, though, Ryan? I mean, like...
She's not like, I mean, theatrically speaking, yeah, she's just gargled a bunch of glass in her mouth, but mechanically speaking, she's down in points.
3, 4, 5. So everybody here who isn't me have 19 points.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
In that moment, Beverly, or the thing that you thought was Beverly, or however you want to interpret that, opens its eyes and kind of like looks around a little surprised and kind of like sees you all and kind of in a voice you don't recognize says, "Is it over? If we..." And then kind of like stops as it hears its own voice almost, and kind of like looks at its hands and kind of like looks at all of you and is like stunned on the ground for a second.
But she recognizes us, right? It's not like a completely different, like not like amnesia situation, right?
No, she recognizes you guys, and there's like an initial like you almost see like a sigh of relief from her. Like she does a look around of like, is there danger? There's no danger. She sees you all, and there's like a definite recognition, almost like a sigh of relief, like I'm safe. And then she hears her voice and kind of like looks at her like not even pale hands, like white hands, like snow, and kind of like looks at you all with like almost a terror in her eye.
I'm gonna like scoop her up and I'm gonna like hug her and just like hold her there.
All right, you hug her, you hold her there, you hug her. Over the shoulder, just from where the minis are positioned, I'll say it's Ember who sort of like sees her pupilless eyes, just white glossed over eyes, and it's just like shocked. Like obviously there's a lot going on right now, but I think the acceptance of Finch is shocking to her, to it, to them.
Would we know? I mean, can I do like is this something that like I would have heard of in terms of like we talked about like what Glint and I would have knowledge of in terms of like necromancy and I don't know what you want to call it, like ghosts, apparitions, etc. Like, would we have any kind of knowledge of what has happened to her?
Make me nature checks. I'm going to give you 2 disadvantage, and I'll explain why in a moment.
That's fair.
Or maybe it'll become apparent unto itself.
I'm sure it's not going to be good. Okay, that is not so good. 15, that's 12.
12, okay.
Only a 10 from me.
Okay, you 2 will have the same knowledge base.
Okay.
The entity said, like, you have a fae amongst you. Did you know that? And
Is she a hollow one?
Like,
I think she's a changeling.
Oh yeah.
You're not. You
you
know that this is a humanoid.
Okay.
Of some kind of, indeed, perhaps shapeshifter, but you don't know. You've never encountered or know of this species of creature before, but you know it's a fae. And there's good news. You recently became very good friends with someone who spends a lot of time in the Fae world.
You should maybe get her to Nyx. They might know what's going on.
I agree.
We should check in with the rest of the city. There was another one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's from down.
True. I do still have a few spells left in the old bank, so.
Finch, do you want to take Beverly for healing and let a couple of us go to check on the status of things? Or?
I can. I don't like splitting the party, but I think that she needs to be seen immediately. And can I, what's it called? Like summon Steed and try and like, what?
Does take 10 minutes.
I know, but like,
okay,
sure. Yeah, I feel like we're not like we have the time. So okay. Yeah, can I do that? And then try and take her somewhere.
You most certainly can. You begin the process where you sort of like beseech Bahamut to send unto you a mighty steed that will, blah, blah, blah. You will do that. You guys are in the Sky Swimmers Arena. If anyone wanted to like walk out onto the many balconies and like check on the status of the city. Okay, Yvaine?
I would like to.
So while the party is speaking about like Beverly, and I will say Beverly's just like, she seems to almost like be in shock. She just seems to like be a little unreactive, a little sort of like unresponsive, like is awake and alive and conscious, but it's just like not fully there. But Yvaine, you step out onto the balcony and you look around. Why don't you make me a perception check? Look over the city and see how its status is.
Okay, let me check. It's a 14 on the dice plus 8. Is that 22?
22. You look over the city, you listen. There is definitely a sign of like relief through the city. There's not singing or maybe a couple of sort of happy, sort of relieved sounds coming from like maybe in the direction, not like no celebrations or anything, but
there is
the
no
city is
screaming.
the act of screaming is gone, and the city seems to be coming to a calm. You get the sense that the Moonweaver ceremony did cleanse the city of these evil things that befell it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have Glint and Finch taking Beverly to the Witchlight Carnival to find Nyx. Ember and Yvaine wanted to go see the Crescent Conclave. Am I correct, or is there other things you have planned? Zarval could go with you guys too if you want.
Yes, Yvaine would immediately. I mean, I don't probably look at Ember and say, I think we should go back to the High Priestess and check in, see if there's anything else. There's probably going to be a bunch of healing needs to be done at Shadow's Respite, since I think that's how these things.
I'm sure.
So you guys have Nalys and Zarval. So we'll say Nalys was probably mostly concerned with the conclave. He says, "I will go with you to the High Priestess." And Zarval says, "Well, I'll keep an eye on the kid with all of you." So we'll split it 3 and 3 then. And with that, Finch, you have summoned a steed. Is there something in particular you wanted, or did you want a mighty warhorse?
I think Finch has gone with the warhorse in the past.
You don't want the snail? You don't want the giant snail?
That's tempting. Is that okay? Is that an option?
It is an option, but I will warn you that
the speed.
I think maybe those snails that you were racing on had some certain enhancements placed on them to like actually be speedy. You could summon a snail, but you don't expect it'll be as fast as the ones you raced.
I think in the top 2
that's fly on the snail.
Because I asked about a dire wolf, and I think that's summon greater steed. So I'll just go with the warhorse for now.
Fucking dire wolves. Okay, so you summon a magnificent warhorse. So suddenly, very much like Shadowfax to Gandalf, where like sort of appears on the horizon and rides up. It doesn't like appear in a glow of light like this is like Warcraft or something. It like we'll see that the doors to the actual arena are like kicked open, and this brilliant white celestial steed sort of makes its way into the arena. You throw Beverly sort of like maybe like across the front. You hop on, like, come with me, Glint. Glint's like, okay. And jumps aboard. Zarval's like, all right, you guys go. I'm sure I'll catch up.
I haven't. How many people can we fit on the horse?
Like, I'm giving you 3 because
got it.
She's a bit of she's kind of small, so I'm giving you 3. But typically it should be about 2, especially with a heavy armored Finch. We're being a little generous.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. Yeah.
Zarval's like, I'll just go with them, honestly. he's gonna go to the Crescent Conclave because he doesn't have a horse. He jumps on the back of Fen. Fen's like, no. So you guys will all go together. You guys go riding off into the city of Lyrengorn to make your way away to go find Nyx. Whereas Ember and Yvaine are going to rally with Nalys and Zarval and begin to make a hurried step back to the lookout area where you left them, which is not too far away. I do want to start with Finch and Glint so we can see Nyx and get Nyx into the action. Okay, Nyx, you've just been having a great day. Nothing's wrong. Everything's fantastic. The Witchlight Carnival went off without a hitch. You made a great celebration. And you and your carnival are probably like sitting back on caravan roofs or in the fields or what have you, just kind of watching the big, beautiful ceremony as the cleric of the Moonweaver, sort of made declarations and speeches about the Moonweaver, and you saw these beautiful wyvern half-dragon creatures ride up into the sky with their riders and take the aurora borealis on the end of their spears and paint beautiful scenes of mythology and elves and goddesses and gods and such in the sky. And it was a gorgeous scene. At a certain point, while the cleansing, the final culmination of the ceremony was happening, there were like some red lights in the city. You guys were like, ah, it's weird. And after like 20 minutes, they just kind of went out and the ceremony concluded, and you guys were like, oh, that was kind of weird. And you guys kind of start going about your business, packing up. Maybe you're packing your stuff or what have you. But in this moment, you see Finch and Glint sort of come riding up on a brilliant white horse with someone hung over the front of the horse in front of them, and just kind of like come bursting into the carnival. And I will say you guys find Nyx pretty quickly.
Is there like it's carnival is like actively going on, right? Like there's like, it's not just like okay. So yeah, I guess why I was asking is like I would imagine we would be wanting to be like somewhat discreet, not just like out in the middle of a crowd like, what has happened to our possessed friend?
Well, yeah, that's up to you.
Now it looks totally different and is in shock about it potentially.
Yeah. If you guys had a different approach you'd like to take, I figured that was the knight in shining armor approach. But if you want something a little less intense, absolutely.
I mean, if it's like not like I don't guess I wouldn't want to like scare a bunch of people. That's not Finch's bag either. So yeah, I guess if we would ride in there, we would like you said we could find her pretty easy, right?
Yeah, you find her. Well, do you ride into the carnival, like, or like how do you tend to get to the carnival if you're not trying to scare folks?
I guess it's worth noting there's probably also 5 skeletons trotting after the horse.
Correct. We are
absolutely left behind. You guys are. Well, we could say that you put them back in the bag if you wanted, because that was 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Yeah, they're back in the bag then. That works for me.
Yeah.
Maybe on the outside of the carnival, if we kind of like pulled up, because like I don't want to draw like too much attention, and I feel like a celestial warhorse would just be a little much.
Well, you also just rode through the streets of Lyrengorn, which are growing like. People, you guys just did a Gandalf through like the White City when he like first gets there, and he's like riding up all the wings through the city, and everyone's like, "Oh, there he goes." That's kind of what you guys just did down the street. So, you guys pull up to the edge of the river. What do? You want to get off, and walk in? Do you want to sort of wave? What's the plan?
We just wave like this. Yeah, I guess if that's the case, then probably like riding up to the carnival and then like dismissing the steed and like is Beverly like capable of walking, or like is she like knocked out completely? No, she's conscious.
She's conscious. She's healed to a degree. She's still got some wounds about her, but she's more just like emotionally shocked.
Okay, then I think I'm gonna carry her then, just like for ease.
Yeah, you just kind of carry her, and she just kind of like.
Yeah.
In your arms, there's almost like a little bit of a confusion mixed with the shock on her face, and you kind of want. So when you walk in, we will get over this bridge literally. You dismiss the war, or you could just leave it there. I mean, you leave it there. You walk over. You've got and yeah, you approach Nyx. So Nyx, you see Finch looking as paladin-y as ever. And with Glint at their side, both of them look battle-worn. Both of them look like wounded. There's blood smattered here and there. They look like they've just been through hell and back. And they've got this person who is dressed like the squire in their arms. What happens next?
I'm so sorry to be disturbing you this evening. But I think we need your help. There's no other person that we could think of that can assist us. And is there a private place that we can go to explain?
Absolutely. My tent right over this way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you take them to basically like the staff area And the big bugbear just lets you by because you belong back there. Your staff mix, and you sort of make your way into one of those little like carnival carriages. Very small quarters, but enough to fit all four of you somewhat tightly, and you can kind of like sit Beverly down on the bed. Nix, why don't you go ahead and make me a nature check or a history check at advantage? Because this is your shtick.
As a quick aside, Glint will kind of like reach up an arm into like a falconer pose and summon the owl familiar.
Okay.
And is going to have Phil kind of keep watch, like perched up on the tent outside, just in case anyone's coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I rolled a history check of 12.
History check of 12. Damn, this is who you get to be. I don't know if it's fitting at all, but 12. You know what this is. You understand in this moment that this is the same squire you met before. This is Beverly. In the Feywild, there are many of these beings. They are called changelings. And it's sort of a Fey trick that is played sometimes by more mischievous, more, frankly, kind of darker Fey, where they'll sort of like come into the real world and they'll abduct babies and leave a changeling baby in exchange, and they think it's good fun. So you don't know if this changeling's ever been to the Feywild or not, but you know that it does have origins in the Feywild. Yeah.
So she explains that to us.
So yeah, sorry. So Nick explains, changeling. How did this happen?
I feel like in that moment, Finch is so overwhelmed. Have you ever seen Frozen 2? And Olaf tries to explain the plot of Frozen 1, but it's just like really over dramatic and like everyone's like watching like the reenactment. I feel like Finch is gonna try and do like that. And like try and explain what happened, but like just get like caught up over themselves because they're hearing like that now Beverly is like a changeling and they may have been abducted. And I think they're just gonna then like have like a short circuit moment where they're like, okay, let me start over. And they'll like explain to you like what happened when it comes like from the battle.
Got it. So what Finch will, they sort of calms themselves and basically explains to you that there was an assassination attempt on the Crescent Conclave during the Moonweaver ceremony that they thwarted. It was a number of drow that came and attacked them. And then they went, and then there were these strange, evil, monstrous, aberrant creatures that attacked the city. And the party managed to defeat one of them, but not before it actually possessed Beverly, attempting to escape. They managed to free Beverly from the possession, and the rest of the ceremony wiped away the evil. And during the possession, it was revealed that Beverly is a changeling. And Beverly's kind of in shock right now.
Also grew our eyes back recently. It's been a day.
These are the kind of adventures you people have. Jeez.
So
How does Nix know how to fix this? Like not how to fix this, but anything about like how to maybe get Beverly back?
You know that Beverly has like it is so when people find out that their baby's a changeling, usually the parents can tell because they'll like be acting like they'll look the same, but they'll act strangely or have different habits, and usually like a cleric or a paladin or someone will come along, or maybe a witch or a wizard or something will basically like beseech the Fae to return the child. There's a whole thing that's done apparently. But what you would know is like Beverly. This is Beverly. Like this is the person you know. Like there's no getting the old person back. But Beverly has been creating that image this whole time. She has the power to look like the old Beverly again, but has the power to turn back to the way she was a moment ago if she wanted to. So that's one of the things.
So Beverly's always been a changeling. Okay.
Yeah. So this is this
I was a
person
little
has been this
confused on
way.
that point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah,
probably
no,
a
you're
baby
good.
Beverly that grew up in the Feywilds, but this Beverly is the Beverly TM.
Yeah. And that could be what happened. That's just typically the lore of the material plane, how changelings come to be, is their babies are swapped out at birth, and then there's all kinds of horrible legends about how like when a changeling grows up, it'll like kill the whole family or something like that. But like, how much of that is true? But this is Beverly. This is the way this is who she is. She is a changeling. She always has been a changeling. You don't know her story. She could have known this all along, or she could be finding this out right now for the first time. You don't know.
I was going to ask that if that was something that she had known. Okay. I'm going to look at her.
She's kind of like she looks like
Yeah.
she looks like a 3-year-old who just got thrown into detention for the first time.
Okay, kiddo. I'm going to try and like read the room a little bit. Okay. It's been a lot. It's been a day. Out of curiosity, is this something that you knew you were capable of? No one here is going to be mad at you if the answer is yes. I'm just trying to make heads or tails of what's happening right now.
Maybe a persuasion check.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 22.
22. She just kind of she's like looking at the ground, like there's almost like she like her head's going forward, but she's like, well, she doesn't have pupils, but you know she's not meeting your eye. But she kind of like very, very like very slightly, just kind of like almost as if she's forcing herself to do it, but everything else is telling her not to. She kind of nods her head very, very in a very tiny way.
As a like a yes. So she knows that she was capable of this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is you. This is who you are. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. You've been through a lot today. I think what you need is some rest. Is there a safe place where we can catch a rest for a little while?
This place should be safe for as long as you need.
Okay.
So would you like the room? I don't want to impose.
I mean, I think all are welcome here. You're one of us. We're a family. We've been through a lot.
Good, because I never expected the crippling migraine that comes with your eyes coming back into your skull.
I feel like I've been stepped on many times, so I could use a rest as well. So I think if it's okay with Nyx and we're not imposing, if we could try and have a long rest here, that would be great. And then maybe we can talk to Beverly a little bit more once she is of her senses again.
No imposition at all. Take as long as you need.
Okay, thank you so much for your hospitality and your knowledge. Obviously, this has been an incredible shock. Still trying to process a lot of this, but I appreciate everything that you've done. Thank you.
And, apologies for showing up on your 10th step.
I feel as though I signed up for this, so.
It is true. And you're handling it wonderfully. I think you'll be quite the adventurer.
So there are 2 cots and 2 hammocks in here. It's tight quarters, but this place is enough to fit 4 people to sleep in. Nyx, you know you have a relationship with these people that like you being like, it's no problem at all. Like you're gonna go to those people, you're gonna be like I need the carriage tent. Like, oh, come on, man. You're like, get the fuck out of here. And they'd be like, fine, whatever. Is there, out of curiosity, do you have any if there's any NPCs you remember that you particularly like, do you think you'd have them as your like carriage mates? Do you think you have anyone from the Witchlight Carnival you would think you would have had in your carriage? No problem with the answer is no. It's all good.
No, not off the top of my head.
That's okay. Yeah, so we'll say I'll pick a couple folks for you. I'm gonna say, nah, they sleep in the same carriage for sure. She doesn't come around. Okay, we'll just say that it's a number of okay, we'll say that Candlefoot is in there, the guy who runs the mime dude who runs the Hall of Mysteries. He's one of them, and like I want to give you two others because like there's so many fun people around here, you know. And then we'll say like the two goblin announcers for the snail races. So like those two guys and Candlefoot are your like carriage mates, and you go out and Candlefoot is like doing all the mime stuff as you're like, go find somewhere to sleep. And the two goblins are like they're doing the, I don't know what they're called, but you know the dudes in Sesame Street that are like sit in the this top of the theater and they kind of like talk to each other.
Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, these are guys in the goblin versions of those guys, and then like, what do you think of that? Oh, I'm not gonna. And they just kind of like bicker at each other, and they kind of like, and they kind of wander off, and they will go find somewhere else to sleep. You tell them to get lost. Cool, and yeah, you four can all sleep there this evening and find a rest, as things have certainly wound down here, and the rest of the carnival is very tired. So all of you will, get into these various places to sleep and whatever. And Beverly's like not in shock anymore, but she's still looking like very like, I've fucked up really bad. And she's like really just like, you can tell it's like her posture. She'll like take off her armor a little painfully, like I'm sure all of you are doing, and get into bed. And all of you sort of get into bed quietly.
You said that she looks like ashamed or like embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if Finch would notice that, I think as they were winding down, they would just like reassure them and say, like, I know today was a lot, and this is a new discovery. Your choice to hide who you are is yours alone. I know a little something about that. You don't need to explain anything to us, and we can talk about it when you're ready, okay? But for now, we can get some rest, right? And Finch will like tuck them in.
Yeah, you tuck them in, go to bed. Glint?
I think Glint's gonna take a little bit to like flip open one of his spell books and start scribing, because it's a better way for him to sort of get his brain to stop spinning its wheels than immediately try to sleep after everything. Yeah, but as he's kind of working on probably scribing the Featherfall spell, I would say.
Okay.
He will ask, does anyone want me to call in the owl if you want to have something soft to hold?
No, the sweet gesture, but no, I think I'm good.
Yeah, you don't get anything from Beverly either. So we'll say, Glyn, maybe you like go sit on, like you close the carriage door, maybe go sit on the steps of the carriage and light a candle and do a little scribe work. Kind of sit around, see all the various performers like making their way to bed. You see the one clown has got his wig off and smoking a cigarette. Just kidding on that one. But inside, Nix, I imagine you're wiped. You've been like the carnival, like it's like 8 hours of like non-stop performing. I don't know. When I'm done my double shifts doing this stuff, I'm pretty wiped. So maybe I imagine Nick's just kind of just is out enjoying a nice sleep. Unless there's something else you'd like to do, of course, it's all within your control.
Well, I was wondering about those attuning those items.
Yes.
When can I do that kind of thing?
It just takes an hour of short rest. So as long as you're just like sitting there and like rubbing your face against it and just like not actually rubbing your face against it, but like all you gotta do is like sit on it and like feel its presence and allow yourself to sort of connect to the item. So it's an hour each, and you get 2 hours of free downtime during every long rest. So by the time you go to bed tonight, you will be attuned.
Awesome. So I can attune the DOS loot and the stone of good luck.
Yes, you can. No problem. I would say you're
Excellent.
already attuned to the stone of good luck. I would say you, because that's something I gave you pre-game, so you would already have that.
Excellent.
Clinking
Yeah.
our
But
lucky
yeah.
rocks together.
Yeah. Your little, it's like a little cat face with like gemstone eyes, and you're like, so you went to bed, and Finch, you probably got a lot on your mind, and as Nyx is sort of falling asleep, and you know you're getting there, you hear like a little voice from the bedroll underneath yours. She just kind of goes, Finch?
Yeah.
Do you hate me?
No. I could never hate you, kiddo. Why would you think that?
I lied to you.
Okay. And I said we could talk about it. I'm sure you had your reasons for hiding who you are. And you don't have to go into those details right now. I mean, I feel like you've been traveling with us long enough to know my history. And like I said, if there's one thing that I know, it's sometimes life is unexpected. And I've had to go through my entire life hiding who I am. And that comes in many forms. I've tried to hide who I am as in my blood, as a celestial, as this angel figure, whatever that means, whatever that is. I've had to hide, or I've wanted to hide who I am as an Andegard, who I am as a person, how I present myself in this world. I have a lot of experience hiding who I am. And I know the reasons that I've hid myself, sometimes for my own peace of mind, to protect my peace, sometimes for safety. And sometimes I don't know. And you may not know, or you may. But I'm definitely not mad at you, okay? And I don't hate you.
Why don't you make a persuasion check?
That is a 13 plus 5, 18.
There's like a pause. You're like waiting for a response. And you hear the kind of like labored whimpering of like someone trying to like hold back like a big cry. And she kind of like gets out of her cot and kind of just like looks at you with like these big welled eyes, and she just kind of like tries to like she just like kind of starts putting her little body into the hammock with you and just kind of like rolls up in the neck of your arm and just kind of like cries a little bit and kind of falls asleep on your chest.
I accept that. And I think like as she's falling asleep, like I'll just like rub her head and like reassure her, or them, I guess, that like reinforcing the words that I said like through touch.
Yeah. And she takes that comfort. You don't know where she's from, but you don't know where she's from or if she even has family anywhere. But as you said before, you're the only family she's probably got, and you've been her mentor, and you sort of keep her secure in this most vulnerable moment. That was hard. I knew that was coming one day in the campaign. That was big feelings. Go ahead and take inspiration, Finch.
Cool.
And you guys will fall into a long rest. Now we're going to steer to something hopefully a little less heartbreaking. We're going to go see what the Crescent Enclave or Crescent Conclave is all about right now.
As they are moving towards the conclave, but before they actually meet the conclave, Yvaine would like to speak directly to Nalys, but like not privately, just
yeah. I get you. No problem. Is there something you want to say?
yeah. So you asked me whether or not I thought it was the Spider Queen, and the truth is, I don't know. I'm not so wise that a greater demon goddess, whatever, couldn't overwhelm me. I'm not so arrogant as to think that I couldn't be. But that is the thing that I identify as the sightless, being from the far realm, who, while certainly part of the fuckery during the calamity, was on a third side all of its own. It doesn't mean it's not in league with the Spider Queen or overtaking her contingency of drow under the earth, or that I'm not deceived. You asked my question, but you asked a question, and that's my evidence. I will defer to your judgment.
I might prefer to defer to yours. You have more experience with this entity than I do.
I don't believe I know the Spider Queen. And that's not to say her hand isn't in this, but that thing was something else, in my opinion.
Ironically, I can't say I'm discomforted to know that you don't know much of the Spider Queen. Brings comfort and quiet.
Didn't know she existed until someone mentioned something about it, like randomly.
Drow who has never heard of the Spider Queen. Very interesting prospect.
I'm a Shari.
And you are Drow. You come from two worlds. It doesn't take much to see that. Even if we weren't talking about the red eyes and ivory skin, you're a scholar and a druid. Not two things that easily come together. We are all people of two worlds, you know. Even those of us that don't seem to be, even those of us who are more stalwart on our path, we all have choices to make. We all have paths to follow.
Their neutrality will not protect them from the sightless. It's not a thing of men. Its motives are incomprehensible. I don't know how you will convey this to them.
I fear it is not the sightless they will be worried about most, and fear it will be the drow that have blades to their throats is what they will be most focused on. They're usually neutral, and they had their kindness by taking the drow into the underdark. I fear that their days in the light are numbered.
But the warnings came from the Temple of Shadow. They would have been assassinated if not for you actually going to them and impressing upon them the importance of the visions given to Priestess Moonshadow. Did it not say something that the Moonweaver sent her warnings to them, specifically to the drow, and a random Ashari here on holiday, and not to them? And I'm not mad at you, I think it...
What would you have them do?
At some point, I would have them accept them as part of we. Yeah, they've been here. They're not going anywhere. They're clearly part of Lyrengorn. And clearly there's something that needs protecting, so let them protect against it. That's what I would have. And give them their space, but if the Moonweaver is sending her premonitions there, how could you possibly send them back? And why in the world are they going to listen to me?
Because you saved them. Because you have seen the truth of the Moonweaver herself.
Yeah.
You command the stars like many of the druids in the city. Do not count yourself short. You have the Moonweaver's blessing on your back, I see it.
All right. Do this. Besides that, people will need healing.
At this point, yes, indeed, you guys will all come to. No. Uh-oh. That's not good. Sorry, have a second. Whew, that could have been bad. Okay, you guys make your way up to the area. You are transported up there through flight, and you are going to find yourselves Ember and Yvaine. Zarvog will stop and talk to some of the wild elves that have gathered outside, including Inris, and kind of speak with them, with Fen. Like, hey guys, how's it going? And you guys can head up and do the politics. He says, I don't really care. Stupid, good-smelling elves who look good and things. Who would want that? And he will stay downstairs and hang out with the archers. You guys make your way up there. There looks to be a lot of relief. There's mixed emotions up here. There is relief, and there is starting to figure out what to do. The drow have definitely been removed. All bodies have just sort of been brought downstairs is all. Not removed, but they are no longer sitting on the area. And they're just kind of trying to figure out what to do. There is, from the +1s mostly, so Lord Rockus, Lady Arathiel are looking relieved off in the corner together. And the rest of the Crossing Conclave are sort of speaking about what's to be done next as you all approach. Well, actually, it's just this time it's just Arcanist Lorelus and High Priestess Alara Moonshadow. The Paladin is there, and he says, Nalys, you succeeded then. Yes, we succeeded, yes. That's good. Nalys says, Sarek, what is the state of things up here? Sarek goes, well, they are, as you can probably guess, they're trying to figure out what to do about the drow. But they're awaiting the rest of the Crescent Conclave to join. The hunters, Huntsman Alarian and Sky Swimmer Tal'Dorei will be here soon, and they will come to a final, hopefully not a final decision tonight, but their input will be important. Nalys will just sort of nod and quietly look at you two as if to say just quietly say, you can't see his expression, but you know him basically to be saying whenever you're ready. As the two women sort of speak in the corner. Well, actually, one's a woman, one's a they, non-binary.
Yeah, all right. So Yvaine's actually going to go ahead and go up to them. Fuck it, let's go ahead and get this done.
Okay. You head over there.
She might actually physically grab Ember to go with her.
Yeah, Nalys just sort of follows along quietly. They will both sort of bow, and they will infer again. High Priestess Alara Moonshadow will say, welcome back. News has already spread that you have brought victory, and I suspect that this annual ceremony would not have been completed without your intervention and met some on this roof. right now may not be alive, we owe you much. Thank you.
Ember will
Arcanist...
cast side eyes at Yvaine under the unwritten auspice of, if you want me to talk, you let me know. Otherwise, this is all you.
Yvaine's going to step forward.
Okay.
Forgive me for intruding, but you said you were planning what to do about the drow. I don't understand.
The old arcanist, Loreless, sort of smiles and says, well, it does travel very fast indeed. Yes, we were trying to figure out what next steps were to be in Lyrengorn. Such a security breach requires action of some kind.
Certainly.
Reassuring people of security.
Certainly securing the caves, but when you say what to do about the drow, that's very specific, isn't it?
It is. The drow attacked us, and they would never have attacked us if we did never let them in.
Oh, that's not at all true. I'm so sorry, but that seems apparent. Do you understand the entity you're fighting? Are you familiar with Sightless?
Both of them do not seem to know. The Arcanist says the Sightless. Is that what attacked us this day?
Yes. That is what it is called.
I see. And this Sightless was in league with these drow assassins.
They may have been thralls. I don't know. We killed them quickly. I think you commented on that. We didn't really keep anyone alive for questioning, so I can't speak to it.
I see. I'll say at this moment, sorry, before we proceed, just to kind of, so we don't have to have the conversation a second time. At this point, Huntsman Ilarion and Sky Swimmer Tal'Dorei, the completing 2 members of the Crescent Conclave, sort of arrive at the steps. And we'll say their formalities, and we'll be caught up to speed. Tal'Dorei, the Sky Swimmer coordinator, says, well, what happened while I was up in the sky?
As per the warnings, drow assassins attacked. And a couple of eldritch things. I'm sure there are more specific terms.
The High Priestess says, aberrant abominations.
That?
Or we may just call it the Sightless, if that is what you think it was.
That is what I believe it was, yes.
And thankfully, the Moonweaver ceremony, as always, has purified our lands of such corruption. We can rest easy. Loreless will look at Ilarion and say, Huntsman Ilarion, you are in charge of the security of Lyrengorn with your hunters, feeding and providing as well as protecting. What is your stance? Ilarion says, we breached our usual neutrality to take in these drow, and almost immediately it was thrown back on our faces. We've been attacked by them. I don't see how they remain in the city with a bounds of our neutrality pact.
So you believe that because you showed kindness to refugees, that's why you were attacked? And if you had not shown kindness, that this would not have happened? I just want to make sure that I've got the cause and effect.
He looks at you and He says, it may be difficult to comprehend the idea of complete neutrality and its merits.
The Moonweaver was not neutral. The Moonweaver was not neutral at all. That's why she's no longer walking amongst us. Did I not understand the calamity correctly? The divergence. And her lack of neutrality is why she no longer walks the Exandria with us. Did I misunderstand that? I know I'm
Maybe a
not.
persuasion check. This will be specifically to, as you are using a sort of religious angle, this will be specifically to persuade the high priestess to your side.
Holy shit. That is a dirty 20. It was a 19 on the dice.
The high priest sort of, you see it definitely as like their confident sort of stance sort of relents a bit and kind of like there's a bit of like, not embarrassment in any way, but certainly like contemplative, or like you kind of hit them where it hurts. They're the center of religion, and you're indeed right. The Moonweaver was not a neutral deity at all in any way. It isn't to this day. So that kind of, you feel like you grasp it onto her. The others of the council might not be so easily persuaded. Alarian says, we have a long tradition here in life. Indeed, we do not have friends. We do not show kindness so much to various nations. But we do not have enemies because of it. To make a friend is to make an enemy. And so is the reverse true. Indeed, we brought them in because they were not part of a nation, but their numbers have grown. Clearly, there is a faction emerging within them. One that seems to be receptive to this sightless entity, if not the Spider Queen herself, who's to say? You saw the entities. It was insectoid, arachnid almost in appearance. Twisted still, but yes, this could be the work of our betrayers.
But you're jumping to logical conclusions without all of the steps. Doesn't make sense.
The Arcanist says, you are indeed right, young one. We are simply discussing, for we are Elven, and we do not make hasty decisions.
If I may suggest...
Thank you, honey.
I am not very old. Today is my 21st birthday. Amongst half-elves, I'm young. Amongst elves, I'm barely off leading strings. I get it. I know that when Lyrengorn was founded, it was a result of the scattering war and not wanting to be involved. And these are things of men. They're not things of gods. I mean, you keep your neutrality with men, and your remote location and the beauty of your fortifications, naturally, the ease of the space to defend will keep you safe. But from gods and aberrant things that you can't possibly understand.
Talindra says, true. You think this. The mountains indeed are vast and will protect us from, yes, armies, let's say. But what of the Chroma Enclave? Think of it. If we had been in heavy association with Amon, if we had been in an alliance with the Tal'Dorei Council, who's to say that Thordak didn't decide to take a little swoop up here and Lyrengorn would be reduced to ashes this very day? The mountains are only so defensive.
Who's to say it wouldn't? Who's to say it would have been any different whatsoever? You're right, of course, but there's just no way to know it. If you're speaking of the defense of your city, I don't know. It's your city. I love it. I don't want harm to come to it.
And Lyrengorn has existed free of military power for a very long time indeed. Our Wyvern Riders used to be warriors, well sought for mercenaries. Today, They serve at my leisure as dancers, athletes. There's no need for war, battle, and life for it because of Andrew. How can you look at us and say that we've done so wrong, isolating ourselves?
I don't. I don't. I'm so sorry if that's how it came out. I apologize deeply. Everything is wonderful. It truly is. What I'm saying is the moon, if the Moonweaver is a goddess of visions and prophecy, she sent her visions to protect you to the Temple of Shadow and a visiting Ashari druid. How is this not her telling you that at least some of the drow are family, are you? At least some of them. You've paladins among you. I've got at least one. I've got a paladin of Bahamut who's got a truth spell. It should be reasonably easy to find the ones who will avow to protect your land. But why would... There's got to be a way to minnow out ill factors and allow those who would stay under the Moonweaver's grace stay there.
Make me another persuasion check. This one is a lower DC for the High Priest, as you've already kind of tagged her with a persuasion, but this is also for the Arcanist, as we're sort of using like logic to benefit your persuasion, to sort of appeal to a more complicated solution.
God is my witness, it's a nat 20.
Nice. Very good. Very good.
Except for the double ones yesterday.
Yeah, there you go. The High Priestess, the High Priest looks, sort of nods, and says, "It is true. The Moonweaver creates illusions, but is also the master of them and see through them." The Arcanist, Loralis, says, "Indeed, as I had said, we are Elven and we will not make impulsive decisions, my friends. This requires an investigation. Many should not be punished for the behavior of a few." Elarian says, "We must. Perhaps the ones who came to us so long ago might be exonerated. Perhaps these most recent ones must be pushed back at the Underdark. But an investigation perhaps is more prudent." Go ahead, Ember.
I'm neither elven nor of your people, but I think you're perhaps overlooking something. They either were tempted into or gathered a fair amount of resource to strike at you, which means they had a purpose, and that purpose could be simple hatred, but your stance seems to indicate that such hatreds would be exceptionally unusual. The other option would be that they are driven by some purpose, and that striking at this ritual would further that purpose. I'm not familiar with the history of the ritual, but what does it prevent that it not being completed would have fostered? Finding the bad apples is a worthy endeavor, but it only finds the bad apples in the barrel. not why they are in the barrel.
Maybe a persuasion check.
$16.
16. Arcanist Loreless will say, indeed. Before any drastic measure must be taken, we need to figure out why this has happened. Why this sightless entity came to us, why it cared to make such destructions, why it wanted to assassinate us. They all seem to sort of nod in understanding. Nalys will say, good members of the Crescent Conclave, I have already contracted, well again, the Aurora Concordant to come with me with my holy quest into the nearby tunnels that the drow have been brought from and hopefully understand why this has happened. Perhaps with some wisdom from the Moonweaver, and with our investigation, we might be able to complete the story for you. And that might help you inform on what to do next. And he says, but by the grace of the Moonweaver, I mean, even their name, the Aurora Concordant, they were God sent to us, and perhaps should be heeded. The Elven, amongst the council, sort of nod the wisdom of Nalys, and the High Priest Alara will say, you are credit to the clergy, Nalys, and we will indeed await the return of your investigation. Perhaps we will await any intense action until you return, if your return doesn't take too long. And in the meantime, we will conduct our own investigation in the city. And there's a sort of bow from Nalys. Let's see here. Master Larian says, well, then there's much to do. He'll look at the High Priest and say, so we'll have to conduct some investigations. Perhaps some of your priests might be dispatched to the Temple of the Shadow. See about this prophecy that the Concordant here has spoken of. Begin to start figuring out which drow pick the good from the bad apples. What a headache. And the Crescent Conclave will begin to sort of talk about next steps, but they seem to be of the mind that right now it's about assuring the people and conducting an investigation, and they will hold off on any dramatic action until your return. But with that said, you don't expect that they would have done something tonight. They are elves, and elves are, or at least elven cultures, are very well known to take a while to make decisions, if not, in the eyes of a more shorter-lived race, almost obnoxiously long. So this isn't totally outside of normal elven practice to be patient, but yes, they seem interested in awaiting the conclusion of your own investigations.
I just wanted to give them some other things to think about.
Fair enough. Hey, it helps change their mind. They went from the drow are bad, we broke our neutrality for them, we almost got killed for it, they should go. That was almost the pretty leading mentality. And now they're like, all right, let's sit back, let's not be emotional, let's be thorough. So it helps. It will influence what happens next, to be sure. Nalys will turn to you two and say, very well done, teams. I'm impressed with the amount of skill that you all possess and your coordination. When would you be ready to go? As I'm sure you can understand, I'm eager to get my own investigation underway. But you're on vacation, and I don't want to get in the way of it.
I believe it's safe to say that the vacation is over.
Yeah, I would say first thing in the morning, except we have to check on Bev. Day after tomorrow for certain, first thing in the morning, but obviously.
We are in the elven city of Lyrengorn, so in the spirit of their culture, let us take our time. Perhaps not tomorrow morning, but the next.
Thank you.
All get situated, prepared, preparations made, and we'll make our descent. I will find you all at your usual accommodations then. In the meantime, I will be around. Moonweaver bless the city that I brought you to them. It's a good thing that you seem to have picked here for your vacation of all the places in Example. Good night. And Nalys will bow to all of you and bow to the conclave, and he will, or they will probably go find themselves somewhere in trance, as it has been a long night for everybody. And very quickly the conclave begins to scatter. Huntsman Larian coordinating his huntsman to sort of do a final sweep, and maybe even quarantine off the drow. Not to get them out, but there is, you know, they did try and kill them.
There's the
there's
bad
a
stuff
line
coming from there, so it's.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that Yvaine or Ember would like to do this evening before finding your way to the inn and flopping down into your bed after a very long
No, that
long night?
pretty much has got me in one.
All right, fantastic. Same for you, Yvaine?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely bedtime. I would like to call Happy back if I can, like before I go to bed.
You do have it as a spell innately, so you will not require the material components. You basically sit down because you don't really have. I think you have Find Familiar through the optional Tasha features, which is another thing. We're not worried about that. But so you sit there, you just kind of like think about Happy and like how awesome Happy is. And oh yeah, Happy wasn't blown away. Never mind, I'm going a little over top here. Happy just sort of like hops out of whatever little demi-plane Happy goes to when Happy's not here, and just kind of like pops it on the bed and kind of like flops down and like looks around and looks up at you.
Oh my god, it was awful, and I'm going to tell him info dump everything.
Happy puts on like the bathrobe and gets some tea and listens and is like, shut up, no way. And Happy's like, there to hear. Ember, I assume you want to do a similar thing.
Yeah. Mine will be a little bit more involved because he actually went up in a puff of smoke, literally.
Yeah, literally. But do you have a brass brazier and the incense required? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yes,
you put the brazier down. You light the incense, and over the next couple of minutes, that incense burns down to the bottom of the bowl, and then very like Howl's Moving Castle when they're moving the whole place. When the incense burns down to the bottom, the bowl just explodes into like a geyser of flame. Doesn't hit the roof, no damage. But then it sort of like simmers out all at once, and there's just this steaming, smoky hand there. He just kind of like waves at you.
I'm terribly sorry.
And it just gives you like the thumbs up.
I kept your flask warm for you.
And it will like turn into a gas and just genie back inside. You need to get like a genie lamp for that thing. That'd be funny. Considering. Anyway, and you guys can all, and I mean the whole party, can get a long rest successfully. Okay, I want to get to the good stuff that happens tomorrow morning. A little delve that's coming. So let's try not to take too much time if it can be helped at all, but I don't want to rush anybody. So what does the Aurora Concordant have planned the next day? So why don't we say very easily, Finch, Glint, and Beverly, you guys begin to head back to the inn. Nyx, maybe you'll catch up. Is there anything you'd like to do around the carnival before you leave on your next grand adventure?
No, I think Nyx is taking care of all the things that need to be done.
Fair enough. You said your goodbyes. You You go around. You're pretty popular here, so there's a lot of goodbyes to be had here and there. But you manage to break away. The mime person's like, and then like the thing goes up without making any sound. And like the goblins play north, east, south, and west are like, and yeah, you find yourself on the way. Mr. Witch looks very disappointed. You leave all the time here and there and always find your way back, but every single time he's always like completely taken aback by it, completely doesn't expect it coming. And he's like off to the side, like he just can't believe that this is happening again. And Mr. Light is like, it was good having you, Nix. Come back soon. Be safe out there. It's dangerous. And he'll give you a hug and send you on your way. And he'll say, oh, here's a little extra something for you for the road. And he is going to put a bag of 10 gold pieces in your hand.
Ooh. Thank you.
Remember, they use that kind of thing here in the material worlds. I believe they have something called an economy. Very fascinating.
Seems like a pain to me.
I agree. What's wrong with trade? Almost every other plane does it, but no. You have to use coins. Anyway, ta-ta! And he'll like cartwheel away. Like a whole bunch went up here. And with that, you set on your way, leaving all of the strange entities behind, and they pack up quick. So as you leave, you will see them all sort of load into their carriages with big butterfly wings on the top, and will sort of very Santa Claus as sort of like ride off into the sky and sort of swirl up into the sky in a big array of horse-drawn, butterfly, dragonfly-drawn carriages with big butterfly wings on the back and fly around, and they all bye. And then these large portals will open up in the air, sort of drop Doctor Strange aspects of their like greens and purples and blues, and they'll sort of vanish into whatever plane Mr. Witch and Mr. Light have planned next for the carnival. And you will be left behind here in the material plane, ready for another adventure. Fantastic. Okay, you all meet up at the inn. I'm sure the information is shared that tomorrow morning you will be leaving with Nalys, if that is still your interest. What would the party like to do around Lyrengorn? Okay.
I mean, Glint's, I think, prepped to head out at this point. He would spend the morning, reasserting control over skeletons, tweaking his spell list in terms of what he has ready, because we're going underground, I believe. Outside of that, I don't think I have too much to prep around beyond, regrouping with the rest of the Concordant. But I think in the morning, at least, as he's like going through all of his rituals and handling that kind of stuff, he would check in on Finch and Bev just quickly.
Okay. As Finch and Beverly arose, Beverly's feeling a bit better, and she kind of like makes herself look like the original Beverly again, and doesn't look quite so like fucked up anymore. She still looks a little like unsure, and like she's cool with you again, Finch. Like you two have like, she's confident that she can rely on you again. But like as she rejoins the party, there's definitely like her being quiet and looking around awkwardly, and like she doesn't really understand where she lies with everybody. Is what you would get, Finch. Is like she's kind of like feeling like she's being reintroduced to the party as a lion, and she is unsure of if anyone hates her or if everyone hates her, So she's just kind of keeping quiet.
Are we like so if we like rejoined the party, would we be like doing like our breakfast debrief like we usually do? Like what's the setting?
It's up to you guys. I imagine that would make sense.
Okay.
Well, if we're going with our paladin friend to check out these tunnels and whatnot, I've got something that I procured a little while ago that I was saving for an upcoming holiday, but I think perhaps you'd be better served having them now just in case. And I will hand both Finch and Beverly each a ring of swimming.
Oh.
Oh, what is it? It's a ring.
It's a ring that you remember when we were in Silar and getting around in the water was, we'll say, a challenge, particularly if you were wearing, and I will gesture to the both of them, rather solid armor.
That's fair.
These rings will ameliorate that to some degree, actually to a great degree. The above table is they give you a swim speed of 40.
Yeah,
One of my
she'll
favorite.
go, wow. I can't even walk that fast. That's thank you.
You'll swim like a horse.
What?
Like a fish.
I didn't know horses could swim.
Not very well, actually. Probably better than a
Very
horse.
Oh.
But it seems like a silly thing to hold on to, not knowing what we're getting into. I pray that it won't be necessary, but with our luck, we never know.
Beverly's gonna now summon a horse and put the ring on the horse. After all of that.
That horse is going so fast. Gwen will ritual cast water breathing once everyone's all together.
Yeah. Well, you're not going yet.
Yeah, but it's a 24-hour duration. You know, getting into
That's
the
fair enough.
Speaking of our luck, we had conversed a bit about purchasing the sending spell for Glint, since it was such a pain in the ass not having it last time when we were underground and needed to get word to people. Do we want to do that now? Like, is that? I'm sure there's got to be someone in Lyrengorn who's got a scroll that we could buy. I would happily purchase it just to know that if we needed to contact someone reliably, no one would have to go to sleep. And she'll like start pulling out money to give to Glint. I don't know how much it costs. Like, how much do you need?
It's a spell of third circle, so scribing it would be at least 150 gold, and then that's discounting the cost of the actual scroll itself. I don't know. It depends how well we haggle, I guess.
Well,
it could be done.
Perhaps that's something to discuss with our manager of the moment.
Tal'Dorei Council?
No, I'm thinking the Lyrengorn folks. We're taking this on at their behest. We did pull bacon out of the fire. It seems it.
Oh, that's
It's
smart.
a very good time to negotiate.
Yeah, I know, that's smart. But like, you remember, in Salar, that was that moment where we needed to communicate to people, and we were like chiseling things on rocks and tying them to mirrors. Like, I just remember us deciding to do something about it before we went underground again.
I think that'll take off in the future. I mean, I think cell stones are a big potential market.
You're so much smarter than me. I don't know what you said, but I'm sure you're right.
No, I'm actually wrong quite often.
Or was wrong quite often, not these days so much.
Above the table.
Yeah.
Did we finish our jars of healing unguents?
What?
Remember when we were back in Mon and we had all the carrion crawler goo and we started making jars of ointment? Is that what it was called? And we ran everyone out of Ember's mum's inn because it was stinky. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. What is it on your? Did we? I don't know. Did we accomplish that? Is there still work to be done on your? Does it like? Did you mark it down?
We initially had a timeline, and then the next session, I think we forgot the timeline because it was announced that our trip was the next day. So I don't think we finished them.
All right. Now, just wanted to check. I didn't know if we like could have moved our shit with us. It's fine though.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally
so we'll
fine.
say,
No, it's in process in a month. It's fine.
Well, did it expire?
Okay. So above the table, DM said that so long as we started on the project, it would arrest the decay. Otherwise, Yvaine would have made a huge point of doing it on the ship while we were coming over because she had the time.
Right. I don't know if it would like. I think as long as it's an active project, yeah. But like, you know what I mean? Like if you just like finish it halfway and then leave it out for a week or two, like it's. You know.
Yeah, they wouldn't have done that. They would have brought it with them. I mean, she hasn't had anything to do with. Well, there were only 3 days left, and that was the time it would have taken to come over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So.
Did you guys bring her?
I mean, yeah, her herbalism kit goes everywhere with her.
Okay.
I mean,
sure.
Like,
we'll
canonically, it has.
Finished. Okay, we can say that you. I'm not gonna say that you did them or finished them because you didn't. But yeah, sure. We can say that you brought them with you.
Okay.
I will say, like, if you don't get back to work on them soon, they're gonna go back to expiring because, like, yeah, you can start cutting a deer up, but like if you don't finish the whole job, it's gonna still go bad.
That's fair.
Do
then
we
I'll
want
start.
to do an all-nighter tonight and just get all gooped up?
And that is what Yvaine will do for the day is put the labor on getting that done so that it doesn't go bad.
Okay. All right, so you guys will work today and tonight. I'll be merciful, just say that you guys can have them done by tomorrow morning. It's fine as long as you'll take that exhaustion, but you can have them done by tomorrow morning. So that's Glint, Yvaine. What about Finch, Nyx, or Ember? Anything important to be done in Lyrengorn, or are you guys just waiting for?
Actually, I'm gonna try to find our paladin intercessory. And
okay, you want to go find Nalys?
Yes, and I want to discuss perhaps getting a couple of scrolls of sending. One to scribe and one to have as an emergency backup until it gets scribed.
He will he's like, yeah, I guess no problem. He says, certainly, I am more than happy to attempt to procure those from you. I'm sure it won't be too difficult. If you wish, I am a cleric, and I could prepare that spell for the duration of our voyage, if that would be helpful.
It certainly would be. We've found that being able to get a message out from a place of depth was of critical importance, and we had to cobble a solution given the vast arcane resources and the events of last evening. That seemed like a minor boon to inquire of. I'm more mercantile than most of the rest of the Concordant, so I'm taking it on our behest to make sure that we are appropriately prepared.
I see. Well, I'll be more than happy to ensure those things are procured. I have no doubt it should be fairly easy after what you all achieved yesterday. I'll have that ready for when we leave tomorrow morning, and I will make sure that regardless, I will have sending ready to go.
Okay, that would be fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Of course. And he will, you'll he will do that. And indeed, the next morning, he will have those 2 scrolls procured for you. He is somewhat persuasive himself and definitely has a lot of pull amongst Selenites. Ooh, whoops. Moonweaver worshippers. So you may go ahead and just have those 2 sending scrolls, and we'll call them call it a thing.
Oh yeah. Question out of character. Whenever Glint does have it scribed, because it'll be about 6 hours. And I don't think we'll be able to do it today at the very least, given the goopening. Would you want Glint to have that prepped at all times when underground, or would it be something to swap to on a long rest during that adventuring day? This is a question of the team, basically, for y'all's preferences.
I would usually defer to Ember in something like this. The situation, if you consider the situation at Salar, again, where you were chiseling onto a tablet and then tying a tablet to a magic mirror, we don't know when we'll need it, but when we'll need it like right now. I would say it would be something that you would want to have in pocket. But also, apparently we have an extra one. So we have an extra one that's in pocket. So yeah, I'm not always the best one to listen to. I just know that if there's going to be fuckery, I'd like to be able to contact someone and not have to go to sleep to do it.
Oh, I understand. Can you pass me that small intestine?
Oh, absolutely. Here it is.
Oh, thank you.
Me too.
Oh, and I did have a question about the undead, actually. So what makes an undead more intelligent or more hungry? Right? Because there are some undead that they're just like mindless, but they want to consume in such manner. But then there's this one vampire, apparently, that's like really, really smart and cunning. And Jasmine had an intelligence to her, and she was a banshee. So apparently, like, they're not all just.
They're not. Out of character, Ryan, do you want me to roll for this? Or do you want me to go fully off cuff?
Have fun.
Good. So there's 2 different points of complexity here. One, there are intentionally created undead, which it mostly depends on the method of animation, in which how much skills and rudimentary intelligence one might implant in them as such an animating force. But there are also undead that are not naturally occurring, because undeath is rarely natural, but occurring due to, say, a curse or a soul that is particularly strong in its grasp on this material plane, be that unfinished business, be that directly being bound to an object in which a great deal of its time was invested. And those undead typically have their souls directly bound to the form they take. For instance, a banshee or a ghost is the soul of the deceased. And a vampire is still the individual directly transformed, so they still have the intelligence and much of the personality of whoever it was that became that creature. So that's still an individual rather than a created object or an underling, as such as a zombie or a skeleton. They are fortunately quite a bit rarer. Though you'll still see creatures such as ghouls, for instance, that, while not particularly powerful, still actually do have the full intelligence of most living creatures.
Yeah, but they'll do whatever Goss tells them to, and they just don't stop coming. We fought them in a graveyard. It was. Whew.
Yes, without a shepherd to guide them along. In my experience, undead follow something of a pecking order based on the force of presence of spirit. For instance, a vampire can typically command lesser undead and spawn, and a ghast can command ghouls, and so on and so forth. And there's skeleton lords and more powerful zombies and wights that can create zombies. And much of that has to deal with the strength of spirit and the force of personality that animates the soul that is bound to that undead itself. So typically that's a particularly powerful individual, be that an adventurer or simply someone with a great deal of charisma and presence in this world that becomes an undead that can then command other undead.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's quite interesting, really, to study. I shudder at the notion of, say, trying to bind a fully sapient undead into service to usher along. You would have to be in almost an equivalent pact to be forged between myself and them. Because how else can you have consent in that case? Most of them are quite evil.
So you have no compunction about going into Shade Barrow and, you know, stuffing Orcus back in his hole and locking it up again?
I have no compunctions about Orcus's hole, I assure you. No, I would be happy to assist.
Excellent. This shall go splendidly then. Oh, could you pass me that bit of goo over there?
Oh, certainly. You wouldn't want it to spoil.
No.
No, Yvaine used the scientific term. No, okay.
Ichor. I'm sorry, Ichor.
Yeah. Toothy maw. Okay, yeah, Glint and Yvaine, go ahead and take inspiration for doing a little downtime, something together. We'd love to see it. I mean, yeah. So if there's nothing else, if it sounds like there might be nothing else, Nyx, is there anything you'd like to do around Lyrengorn before departing into the big quest coming up?
No, I think Nyx is just ready to get on with the things.
Ready
not
to
sure
get on with
what's
the things.
happening. Like we're not sure what's in store, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So no problem there. Everybody, except of course, Yvaine and Glint will be able to get a long rest, as you two will complete your terrible evil concoctions that will stink up. Or actually, you would think would stink up the inn, but luckily, everything here is magic, and your particular smelly rooms will stay smelly rooms and not affront any other people around.
Oh, we need that charm. We need to find out what charm that is, and you know, use that.
Oh, I did prepare a basic prestidigitation today, and he'll be flicking his hand every now and again, and it's like a little mister spritz of just scent into the room.
All right, fantastic. So as you awaken the next morning, Nalys will find you and say, "Very well, let us ascend into the Underdark, and I have been in communion with the Moonweaver, and I believe she has sent me enough that will guide our path forward. So there we go. And before we get to that, why don't we take a slightly early break, and we will get to the big adventure stuff.
Awesome.
Or I mean, not next session. After the break. After the break in 10 minutes. No,
Yay!
There's much still to come.
So Beverly's a changeling.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I like it.
I take it.
She slipped in there. She was like, I want to be a hero, and was like, they won't ever take me if I look like this. So here we are.
No
yeah,
one
I feel
will
like it'll lead to some good conversation later on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I'll try not to.
I mean, if she like changelings, I mean, above the table, they can become whatever they want, right? Like they can choose.
They can look like whoever they want.
Yeah.
Physically
speaking, yeah. Physically speaking, and obviously audibly speaking as well, voice as well, they can become anybody as long as they are of the same size category.
The capacity for fraud is endless.
Yeah, the capacity for fraud is endless. Yeah, you guys hey, as long as you keep, letting her know like it's okay to be different. You can learn some stuff about her. She's got some skills that you guys haven't learned about yet.
I'm actually looking forward to. Yvaine's looking forward to talking to her if this ends up getting shared, because
Yeah, I feel
Yvaine
like
knows a thing or two about
'cause it
trading
wasn't.
meat suits and being the same person no matter what your meat suit is.
Yeah, because it wasn't shared, right? Just Beverly came back, and that's all they saw, right? Was her looking normal again.
Well, no, we saw her looking.
Yeah, she went all like fucked up, and the thing was like,
Yeah,
you know, you
but
had
like we
Faye
never came
traveling
back
with
and
you.
said like this is what happened. She just looked like Beverly again.
You just came back, and Beverly looked exactly like Beverly. Obviously, they can't obscure like physical wounds, so like any cuts or bruises will like remain no matter what form she's traveling in. But yeah.
I guess what I was getting at is like to the party, we went away, we went to Nyx, and only Glint and I and Nyx know at this point that Beverly is a changeling. Okay.
But we all saw them look different, right?
Look different, but you don't know why.
They were no longer looking and sounding like Beverly.
Correct. It's
but to your knowledge, that could have been like her being possessed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But it's up to y'all if this was like a random thing that was fixed, or if there's like it's up to whatever conclusion your character would draw.
And we'll have,
I think passive insight. It's not a huge leap. Like it's like it's not a 1-to-1. You're not gonna be like, oh, that is a change. Like obviously, but there's a between the sightless ones sort of like outing her to be a fae and transformation, and then sort of her reaction upon coming back. Like a lot can be inferred. Not everything, but a lot.
Okay, maybe it's one of those things that definitely it's like the pink elephant in the room right now, because like we're about to go on like a big event, like a mission.
Well, we gotta do this before we go under there. Like,
you ever wondered why the Sisters Ghast was so interested in her?
Oh. I thought they were just being creepy.
I thought it was because she was so young and innocent and didn't see anything.
Because they actually had true sight, so they looked at her and they saw that she was a changeling. They're like, "Oh, that's fun." But notably, they didn't reveal anything to you guys.
They didn't out her.
Didn't blackmail, as far as you know, haven't blackmailed her or anything like that. But
the sisters seemed cool. The sisters seem totally cool. Like Yvaine still thinks they're pretty awesome.
Yeah. Look, as your neighbor, as one of your friendly neighborhood datems, I have a powerful urge now and again to become a swamp witch. So I get it. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're very, very well misunderstood. They were just like elven researchers who spent a little too long down there and got all tentacly. So they're not hags. They're just
kooky
elves who got dealt a bad hand, kind of
unique.
Yeah. They're just living their best lives.
Oh my gosh, look at Glint and the Skelly boys.
Again, Yvaine thinks they're both really sweet. She really quite likes them both. So
someday I might toss the token I have on Hero Forge for my skeletons over to Ryan and pay for that upgrade.
Nice. Little kobold skellies.
Oh, they're not too koboldy at this point, but they got a fun look. I can pull up what they actually look like on my end. Because that would be like the same cost as updating a character menu, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah, same.
Why do I feel like with Glint and Nyx, we need to have like a "This is Halloween" Jack Skellington kind of real autumn Halloween extravaganza?
We could do some fun stuff with it for sure.
Absolutely.
Cass, if you could, if you have any like references on how Nyx looks on a regular basis, can you toss them to me? I'd like to try and sketch your character at some point.
Oh, thank you. Let's see.
Where did I save my skeletons?
I just put my little Hero Forge guy in there in the group chat.
Group chat on the Facebook or the Zoom?
The Zoom. The Zoom.
Ooh, hell yeah! I will keep this open in a tab so I don't forget.
Hey, guess what? Glint's got a handout after so very long.
Please got a hand out. Now I gotta go look it up.
I gotta get Nick's one too, but
Awesome.
oh, I was working on you, Nick. So
Yay.
go to play.
That's cute.
Wait, why am I not seeing?
Oh, I found my skeletons.
Found your skeletons.
I think I put your hand. Oh, I put your character sheet in the hand section. I got them all mixed up. My bad. I was like, oh no, did I delete it? But I didn't, which is great.
Someday I'll properly tweak that model a little more.
I like it. I love the beard and mustache. I think they're fabulous.
It's very dapper.
It is very dapper, I agree.
I'm pretty proud of how Gwyn's turned out, yeah. Getting his tattoos in was a weird experience.
I want to
All
see.
those skeleton guys are badass.
Like, I know he's too smart to be a himbo, but look at him.
I mean,
So handsome.
Part of him is like
he's so
all
handsome.
the hyperfixation features of my ADHD, but like turned up to 11 for a character. And then part of it is me remembering that so my sister has two PhDs and still probably texts like a goblin every time I talk to her. So I think the smarter someone gets, there's like an eclipsing point where they just get even more dumb in day-to-day life in some ways.
Well, there's like the hyper intelligent people who just don't know how to talk to folks, you know. Is this what you want to go with, Nix? I'll import it and you can have it in the game.
Yeah.
All right, it's coming up. We'll have it going soon enough. What is this supposed to be? You, Glyn, with the arcane shotgun?
With a skeleton?
Oh, that's your skeleton.
Yeah, no, that's just them with crossbows. I put runes on it because they do extra damage based on Glint's proficiency bonus. So I figure there's some kind of.
It looks like a shotgun. Yeah, but
I know I really
there's
like
the
how
arms.
it
There
looks.
we are.
Yeah, it's like a big repeating crossbow thing. I just think it looks cool. I think they released some new crossbows.
That guy's got way too much force of presence
to be a minion. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the like JoJo like hips out thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like making needlessly overcomplicated minis. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe it.
I've been getting into the deep rabbit hole of you can make some really complex like custom minis if you upload the extra of the mini on that base as a copy of the original mini and then layer them together.
Yeah, I've done that. I got here. I got one for you. I was making Oceanus. Well, I didn't make this one. I stole it off the internet. But this guy definitely is like, you know, like look at that.
Mm-hmm.
He's got those are like tails.
Oh yeah, you can do a lot with the tails.
Yeah, with the tails.
I saw someone use the tails to give like huge buff like monster arms to someone once, and I was very impressed.
Oh, there we go. We already got Nyx. Here we go. Boom. Ta-da! Just like that. You're in the game.
Yeah, I have too many Hero Forge minis that are saved that I will never use.
I don't have enough saved. That's the difference between them. There we go. There, we got a full party of minis. Hell yeah. All right, I'm going to go wander around the house until it's time.
Yeah, stretch your legs.
Yeah, I actually am. I gotta take a little bathroom break.
Mhm.
We'll wait. Yeah, we got fix. We'll wait for Finch and we'll get to it once Finch is back. So many magic items to give away. That's pretty cool. Oh, before we continue, I realized I completely forgot to hand out even a single lingering injury last game. So I thought I might just ask about that. Does anyone here recall if they went down, scored a nat 20, or had a nat 20 scored on? I don't think anyone had a nat 20 scored on them because it was all saving throws. But does anyone remember going down? I remember.
I know Glint did not. Finch did not. I think Zarvog almost did, but I'm pretty sure he got healed up before he actually went down.
And I think someone almost did go down, but had a death ward on them, I'm pretty sure.
The only one I know for reasonably sure was Bev from the opening psychic attack.
So she went down. Yeah, I'll hand her one.
And we can give lingering injuries to our familiars if you want.
It's okay. Lingering.
No, we can't. No, we can't.
Happy has an eye patch whenever they come out next.
So I'm gonna just make life easy and say that like her shock thing was like just like a partial residue of the psychic damage. She had like a very short yeah, she had like a short-term madness. But what I rolled, because it is hilarious, but it's going by and it has no relevance, it's already been healed and it would have been healed, is inappropriate volume. Because she can't regulate her volume. She shouts when she intends to whisper and whispers when she intends to shout. But magic healing cures that, so she would have been cured immediately. So because of Ember, but I think that's. She's like, oh no, they found out! They found out I'm a fucking changeling! Why am I yelling? That would have been a really, that would have been a really contrapuntal moment there. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's get started. Finch will get back when Finch gets back, and we will hop to the game. So you wake up in Lyrengorn the next morning. As previously stated, Glint would receive 2 sending scrolls in the morning. Nalys would say, "Here is a reward amongst others. I imagine that they are. By the end of this, they'll be trying to find ways to reward you all."
Wonderful.
So, in the meantime, let's get to it. I hope all of you are prepared for the cold, because we will be leaving the reasonable warmth of Lyrengorn for the Arctic in the north.
Yvaine will go put on her cold weather gear. She has it. She just wasn't wearing it, but she'll go put it on now.
Yeah, like in Lyrengorn, it's still like chilly. Like it's like a really cold autumn day. Like not enough to snow, but it's like a cold autumn day because of all of the enchantments to keep things generally warm in Lyrengorn. Like someone could walk around in like a backless dress and be fine. But as you step out of Lyrengorn and make your way north, and you will pass through Shadow's Respite on the way there, the drow, you will see that there's like a heavy wild elf hunter's presence within maybe even a couple of the sparse few individuals in Lyrengorn who consider themselves still warriors who ride wyverns are there. Sort of like on wyvern back, on nearby sort of rocks, just sort of like keeping an eye. It gets the sense they've definitely been like quarantined. You don't see any mistreatment per se, but they're like the entire community is under heavy suspicion, and they are, for all intents and purposes, under house arrest. And they are being watched carefully by arcanist, hunter, and wyvern rider alike. Nalys walks through. He sees everything. He's a little apathetic to the whole situation. Or as far as you can tell, he wears a mask. It's hard to tell how he's reacting to anything, but kind of looks around but keeps focused at the very least. And we'll keep forwarding on. Very quickly, the temperature will drop. It's going to go from a little uncomfortable to be on in anything but like, full like with a jacket to like just a hard slanted drop as you guys enter into the Neverfields north of Lyrengorn.
Which is why Ember carries produce flame. There.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nicer. It's helpful. It's definitely helpful. Does not hurt.
Actually, I have a question. So
Of course.
the awesome Lyrengorn pledge that Yvaine got, that I know it was like only 15 as far as fashion says, but you said it had a warming enchantment.
Yes, it does.
So does that mean I can wear it in this weather and I would not be cold?
You got it's a dress with a warming enchantment, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Like I still have to wear armor over it, but
you can, but it is a dress. Like it's like a big, floofy, layered dress. Like it's not. You're not getting a lot of adventuring done in it. You know what I mean? It's for show. It's for you.
Oh shit! Well, never mind. No, well then I'll put on my normal. It's fine. Thank you.
It's like going to like you're going hiking in like a dinner dress. You know what I mean?
Oh no, fuck that. No, we're in the normal cold weather. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You could go seek something like that around Lyrengorn, like absolutely, but your dress is definitely not. But you're maybe
when we get back. We're underground now.
Got it. So yeah, you guys will voyage north thanks to the help of. It's also worth noting that Nalys has put more clothing on. No longer is he exposing only his abs. And puts a little more clothing on. They do, excuse me.
How
unfortunate.
unfortunate.
You go wandering. How unfortunate. You go wandering through the tundra for a little while, but eventually you are going to come to a rather large hole in the earth, sort of obscured in the Arctic shelf slightly. And you'll say, all right, just as the drow said, it is here. Let us descend within. Hopefully, it won't be anything too dangerous, but, well, it's a silly thing to say, right? And you guys make your way in. So let's go to the Underdark, the Underdark.
Once we're going into the cave proper, Glint is gonna bring out the whole parade of skeletons and the familiar.
Got it. Nalys gives you a couple looks.
Sorry about this.
Are you?
No.
Why did you lie?
It felt necessary, honestly. One gets used to it in my line of study, but I assure you they are quite harmless to you and everyone with us.
Wow. Okay.
The ethical sauce is fine.
He just kind of keeps walking, and he'll say, "You are clearly sent by the moon. If she had qualms with I'm sure if she is fine with it, I am certain.
This is well, one, thank you, I appreciate it. And also, this is Frederick, Oscar, Julia, Deacon, and Claudia.
Don't push your luck. Okay, let's get going, guys. You guys are going to explore. Nalys says, I don't imagine we'll spend longer than a day in these tunnels. It's not too far where the Moonweaver is intended for us to go. She speaks of a cavern with pictures on the walls. I'm sure we will know what we're looking at when we see it. Have you ever been in the Underdark?
Something. We're supposed to retrieve something, yeah?
Retrieve something, that's right. I'm afraid I don't know what that is. All I know is how to find it. And again, she speaks of pictures on the walls in the cavern. That's what I was able to interpret of the prophecy she put to me.
Well, I do know my stone work. I can keep an eye out for any unusual veins of stone, any carvings, etchings, sculptures. It's probably the best place to start.
Would not hurt at all. All right, let me just toss you guys all down, your little Underdark party. Da, 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 da. Listen, Zarble at the front. Then, God, there's a lot of you.
Happy is with us, by the way.
Yeah, I assume Happy's largely with you, no matter what. I mean, he's on your mini for Moonweaver's sake.
Exactly.
This kind of in caves, it tends to be closer quarters from our experience. Glint's gonna have the skeletons actually affix their shields and have swords out, if that's okay.
Yeah, they can march along their spears and shields, no problem at all. Ooh, yeah, let's do that. I mean, anything can happen. As you guys are traveling through the Underdark, you're going to see plenty of things. This will be your first time. Actually, Nix, let me ask you, do you think you've ever been in the Underdark before? The tunnels beneath the earth, a different biome unto itself?
No, I think this is a new experience for Nix.
Understood. Yeah, you enter into like these cold, dark tunnels under the earth, and very quickly the biome begins to change. It's not just rock and cavern, but there is like luminescent fungi and crystals coming off of the walls. It's a strange world all to itself where there is no sky. You imagine this is maybe how dwarves live, but you've heard of the dark elves and how they usually live beneath the earth. And you enter into this most strange biome, a place that is unlike any other. Don't worry about all of the uses. They're not going to kill you, as I am deleting them from the map. But yeah, it's kind of a weird and interesting alien experience. As you guys walk by some dead bodies, you're gonna see some things. Oh my god, those are so cool. Whoa. Sorry, I got distracted. Where was I? Yes. Up ahead, you guys hear some movement in the next cavern. I'll put you guys back a bit so we're not walking right in the middle there, but we can put you up a bit. Nope, we can't. So you guys are walking along and you hear up ahead the sound of like bone on rock almost. Zargog's like, hang on. Something's fishy. Wait, that's not my line.
Like that he's gradually turning into Wolverine.
Yeah. Listen here, Bob. Damn it, Summers. Anyway, but yeah, what do you guys want to do?
You said we hear bone on rock?
Yeah, it's like bone on rock, like scraping, like something is scraping against rock, almost like a bear clawing on a tree.
I mean, usually we send Zarvog in to keep it out, but you know what we could do is
I'm the best there is at what I do, and he drops into stealth.
Yeah, he is. He actually is. He's so hot when he does that. Sorry.
Whatever, witch. Yeah, that's something I say usually. All right, let's go. I hope you hear this, Olzon. Oh, okay, it's not. I'm just trying to be funny. I'm just trying to entertain him. I don't mean it. Oh yeah, he like pulls the wings around himself and goes, and he disappears into the dark. And he is going to roll pretty dang good. And sort of run ahead. And then he's going to run back. He's going to go, yeah, there's these large creatures. They're like ong cake size. They're really, really big, but they look kind of like part bear, part bird, and they have these like big hook clawed barbed arm things.
Fascinating.
Yeah, they're horrifying.
Oh, horrifying hook monsters.
Yeah.
All right, so I can bog them down.
Did you get a count on how many?
There's only 2.
Let's throw some foliage around him, and then I don't know. We can just.
Yeah, 13 against 2. I like those odds.
You gotta wonder why you'd shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane. This is anyway. That was weird of you. Don't know where to go from that. Anyway.
So I'll have the skeletons move closer to the front, at least.
All right, skeletons move to the front. The vanguard. They push forward.
If you want to.
Do you want to push forward? And they get to like the edge of the thing. You guys are following along.
Why go that far forward?
Yeah. We can all the skeletons stop and turn around and look at you, Ember.
That's a good choke point, isn't it?
That was my thought. Just do the sword on shield bangy thing and see if they come.
Yeah. Should we do something to draw them in?
The sword on shield bangy thing.
Oh right. Gentlemen, Claudia, Julia, if you could do the bangy thing.
Glint the wizard, not the warlord. They all they're like looking at you, Glint, like they're your children. They have no idea. And you're like, no, yeah, like yeah, and they're like, okay. And they're all like doing it all out of sync. Like it's like, oh yeah. And they're all doing it like all out of. They don't really know what they're doing. They've not seen enough horror movies. But in that moment, you hear and there's sound, and I'll have everybody roll initiative.
Also, there should be 5 skeletons.
Oh yeah,
you can just have the 5th back with Glint if you want, as an aide de camp.
Yeah, you have the kobolds in front and this guy in the back kind of like looks at you sadly, as sadly as a skeleton can.
All right, initiative. Exhaustion will be disadvantage on initiative for Glint, correct?
Yes, they are considered ability checks after all.
Alrighty. And then with the familiar, does that go on my turn or directly after?
I like to do summons at the end of the turn, just to keep things simple.
Got it.
Summons and animated skeletons.
Oof. Not great.
That is a D12. My, Zarbo rolled really well. The ranger rolled well. What the fuck?
Yvaine, how many doses of the ointment do we manage to churn out? Was it 3? Was that right?
3 jars. Each
And each of
jar
those.
above the table has to be rolled upon. It's like 1d
You'd be full.
plus X.
The rule is the idea that like you have found it and some of it has been used, so you would have the maximum number of uses out of that.
So we have
I'm pretty
3
sure
jars.
that's how it's rolled. Yeah.
We have
Yes.
3 jars full.
So amazing. We have so much healing on hand.
Yeah, that's good. Nothing wrong with a little extra healing.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
I don't
All
think that
right,
is
20 or
awesome.
above. Who's got 20 or above? 20 or above. Nobody, except for Zarvog, of course. 20 to 15.
19.
17, please.
Look at Yvaine, high roller.
High roller. How
It helps
about
when you roll with
15?
advantage.
I'm so sorry. I had to go like into the dogs because they were yelling like ats. Like, what are we doing? We're rolling.
Rolling
initiative.
That's right.
Just initiative.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
You're
No
fine.
problem.
Ember had a 14, Ryan.
14, thank you very much.
Nick's
Where
got 15 plus 5, so 20.
Nice.
God damn, Nick's not bad at all. It's higher than Finch got.
God dang.
Damn.
And this
15 to
nice.
10.
My +2 to initiative.
I'm just at my. Oh, Glenn, what'd you get?
8.
Okay, them's the things. Zarvog's like, bring it on, motherfucker. And he is going.
I love
I'm just
it so
having
much.
fun at this point. I'm not even trying to be authentic. And he is going to just.
And that's pretty
yeah,
on
I gotta
brand.
get this man. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we're gonna. I need to get this man a better crossbow. He's only got a 9-pronged crossbow. That's great. But anyway, he is just going to prep a shot. I think is the best way to do things. Okay. Yeah, he just preps a shot. Life's nice and simple. I don't think he had any bonus actions to use here. I'll give him the long rest because he's got the long rest. Confirm. Yeah, that's all. Okay, Nyx, you are second to bat. Something's coming down that dark corridor, and it's coming down fast. You have 2 options. Just to start you off. Would you like to take your turn now, or would you like to like put it down the order and wait for the enemy to show up? You can always prep something on your turn and keep your initiative order if you want.
So I guess I'll wait for the enemy to present themselves.
Okay. You can always say that you're preparing a spell. So like making ready for when it shows its face if you want to do that, if you want to keep your initiative order.
Okay, yeah, let me do that.
Okay. Is there a particular spell or weapon you would like to use?
Let's see. Maybe invisibility. So we can like, but that would only affect me, right? Well, the Nyx.
You can cast on whoever you'd like, but I believe it's only one person. The spell has its description.
Regular invis or greater, you said?
Regular.
Regular is baseline 1 target of your choice, so then you can upcast it, and each higher spell level is an additional target typically.
And you can cast that right now.
Wait, I actually have greater invisibility. Let's do that one.
Okay. You want a greater invisibility yourself?
Can I do the group?
You can only do one person.
Yeah, that one's single target, but it doesn't break whenever you attack with it. So it's like you're just in predator mode, basically.
Ooh, we need somebody. That would be good for somebody who's attacking physically. So would that be Zarvog?
Like Zarvolg or Finch, mostly. Yeah.
Or the healer. Yeah, we could do Yvaine. Let's do Yvaine.
Okay. You sort of make your way up, because I believe it's a touch spell, if I'm not mistaken. So you go 5, 10, 15. You get next to Yvaine, put your hand on her shoulder, and just, I'm going to be extra thorough with this, just so that for educational purposes. I'll pull it up here, make sure I'm not getting anything wrong. So yeah, it's an action and it's a touch. So you run up to Yvaine for 15 feet, touch her on the shoulder. It's only verbal and somatic components, which means hand movements and talking. So you say your incantation, you touch her shoulder, and Yvaine, you will have greater invisibility for the next minute, or until concentration is broken by Nyx. You will be completely invisible regardless of any actions you make. Is there anything else you would like to do next? You have 15 feet of movement and a bonus action.
Can I do a bardic inspiration for the group?
You can only bardic inspire 1% at a time, but yes, you can. So you could like inspire Yvaine on top of it if you want to like get her an extra juicy bump, or you can hit somebody else in the party, give them a buff.
Let's do let's do that, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Who would you like to inspire?
Yvaine. No, Finch.
Finch. Is there anything you'd like to say to inspire Finch to this next great battle that's coming?
Sorry, my internet is spotty.
That's okay. Yeah, I think we might have lost Nyx for the moment. That's okay. So, Finch, so why don't we take that? You have a D8 bardic inspiration.
I'm so sorry, Finch. My internet's so spotty right now.
No worries at all. Was there anything you wanted to say to like inspire Finch? Or do? Always play a little tune if you want. Oh. The face says it all. All right, we'll move right along. Okay. Finch and a guard. What are you gonna do?
Okay. Is this like a fork?
Yeah, this is a fork in the road. Nalys was pretty insistent that left was the way. Zarvik was like, who do you think you are? I'm the ranger around here, Summers.
I mean, is Zar contesting that?
Not actually. I'm just being stupid.
Okay, then I'm gonna go left then. I'm gonna use my movement to start to head in that away.
Okay. At 20 feet, you can hit the back of the skelly line if you want.
Back at the skelly line. That's cool. And then I am going to, for the time being, because we can't see anything, right? No, I can't see anything.
No, you hear it. You hear them making their way down.
Bugs. Why is it gotta be bugs? I am going to hold an attack.
All right. What do you? Yeah, you hold a melee attack.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold a melee attack.
All right. You bring your hammer back and prepare to do some smashing. No worries there. Yvaine.
You know what? Let me just. I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna use my bonus action to prepare branding smite. I think that's what.
All right. Your hammer once more illuminates the seals, the celestial seals branding. Incredible. Yvaine, what are you and Happy to get up to?
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to deploy Happy to Finch.
Boing, 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 boing.
Let's just go hang out by Finch, because that's always a good place to be.
Yeah, Finch, you're like, by the power of Grayskull, and you're like, come at me, you bat! And you look down, Happy's like...
With anime eyes.
Like, yeah, big anime eyes, like Pussy Boots, and you're like,
Happy does it too, with like a rock.
Happy's like, picks up a rock and goes, and just like, kind of like, that's right. Yes. Aims like a little rock in his paw, and it like falls off the back of his paw because he doesn't actually have fingers, and he goes, is there anything else you think?
No, like I'm so here for that. No, I'm only hearing things, and I don't want to pop a.
Can't wait for these guys
Yeah,
to run around
no,
the corner and just get fucking destroyed.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna hold a thorn whip. Oh wait, I'm fucking invisible. No, I'm good. I'm good. We're good. We're good. Thank you.
Everybody's really feeling themselves for this combat. Like nothing's happened yet, but everyone's like, ah! Everyone's like just really into themselves right now. Nyx showed up, and when everyone was like, so now everyone's super into themselves, inspired. They're like, yeah, let's go.
We're practically gods.
We're practically gods. Suddenly, the roof caves in.
That's a problem. No, shush.
Oh god.
Remember when Keyleth turned into a goldfish and then died?
Sometimes I wonder if they intentionally make really horrible decisions. Like, not just like the jumping off of like a 500-foot cliff, but the turning into a goldfish in the process. I'm like,
I like when Jester turned into a moth too, and then they were like, "Oh no, you have the intelligence of a moth," and she was like, "I just eat this curtain over here,"
which is fair. That was fair role play. Ember Van Zyl, what would you like to do, sir?
Let's see. That's got 60 feet. How far is it? It looks like there's a kind of a hooked corner there in front of our Skelly Dance-a-thon.
Yeah, it hooks left.
Okay. What's the distance from me to the kind of the corner 5 foot in the corner of the?
We'll call it about 80 feet to get to like the back wall. So 75 to 80 feet, depending on.
Okay.
More right or more left.
Yeah, we'll go more right, but I'll move kind of up behind Finch, I guess.
Okay. All right, we'll get you there. You get there, no problem.
And then 60 feet, I'm gonna drop a bonfire in that far right corner.
All right.
Mostly to force them through an even narrower spot.
Got it.
Assuming
Very
that
cool.
they don't want to be on fire.
Got it. So you want to just like put it kind of off to the right, but a little bit in the middle. Okay, squeeze them in. Fantastic.
That's the idea.
Bonfire comes up. Highly tactical move from Ember. Well done, sir. Is there anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. My ribs are coming out of my stomach. They are going to come charging down the corridor. These really horrible hooked things.
These hooked horrors.
Hooked horror is going to run this way. It's going to get to about here. Sort of roar some. This one is going to do the same thing, do a little dashy dash to right there. And that'll be their turns. They just sort of run in, and all of you are standing there. Only Azarval prepped an attack, so I'll let him loose that. You son of a bitch. That's going. Sorry. That's going to hit pretty easily. That's going to be 10 plus 73. It's going to be 10 points of damage to the front guy. A bolt lands in his chest and it roars angrily. Beverly. Beverly still has her Moonweaver spear, which she loves, and has it out right now and lighting the way with it. She is going to. I don't think she's going to throw the spear per se. I think she's just going to like stay back, honestly. She doesn't want to get in anyone's way. So she'll just kind of like leave the spear alight, and she'll like say a very quiet word to Bahamut and grant Finch Shield of Faith. So you'll have a +2 to your AC. But otherwise, she just kind of steps back and takes the dodge action. Not quite as full of zeal as she used to be. Glint, what do you do, sir?
Okay, so I can see one up ahead. That's currently flanked by my, well, not flanked, but surrounded by my skeleton boys on one end.
That's right.
And then there's another Hakor directly behind it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Options. I don't want to burn any huge spells here, but so I can see two Hakors kind of in a line, and they're both large enough to kind of tower over the skeletons. Could I arc a lightning bolt basically up through the upper half of them?
You can certainly try. It's going to be a little narrow there because you got a lot of people between you and them.
That's fair. If I can get into a position to do that safely, that's probably my go-to. If not, I can just throw a chromatic orb, I think.
Well, let's see. You're going to have to like hit up here. That's going to have to be your target no matter what if you want to catch both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're trying to get you, and that's a 5-foot square. So
Correct.
even if I put it at the top of your head. So let's
Curse
start.
my dwarven smallness.
Curse my dwarven smallness. So even if we did that, that's
a little dicey.
A little dicey. You got, especially Yvaine, especially.
Yeah, that's okay. Do I know anything about these creatures?
Make me a nature check.
Sure. I'll use a charge in my ring to cancel out my exhaustion.
Cool.
Not bad. That's a 20 total.
Yes, you've heard of these. Fierce predators of the Underdark, the Hotors, aggressively defend their hunting grounds. They subterranean caverns in which these creatures dwell. They use echoes to hear where they're going. They use echolocation to see in large. But they can climb very expertly. They have exoskeletons to protect them with. They have powerful arms and legs that are ended on wicked curved claws, no matter which appendage they're coming from.
Got it.
They usually are pack predators. They're omnivores. They eat lichen, fungi, and plants, but they're probably very angry right now because you've stumbled onto their hunting grounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far away am I from them? I apologize for the battery of questions.
It's all good. You're a wizard, man. I expect it. So what was the question? Sorry, how far are you from them?
Correct. So it's 91 feet?
Let's scooch in there.
Or is that just the length of the line? Okay.
Yeah, it's the length of the line.
So if I move forward 25 feet...
you're 55 feet from it.
Okay, so I'd be within 30 feet if I use all my movement to move forward, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that, and I'm going to cast Deafness on the lead Hakor then.
Okay. You get to hear. I like seeing all the lines because we're like actively seeing Glint's like calculations. Okay, you're casting Deafness, a very interesting move, my friend. Okay.
So that's DC 17 con save from it.
That is going to be a failure.
Okay.
Hakor sort of like brings its hooks to its ears and starts scraping at the side of its head. It starts screeching, very unhappy.
Excellent. I just want to really make sure that Yvaine gets mileage out of that invisibility. Okay, then bonus action, giving commands to my skeletons to basically charge that first one. If they can get into a position to flank it, great. If not, just the lead one stabbing.
They will not be able to flank, but they can push and attack.
Yeah.
So
and
go ahead
then
and make some attacks.
Yeah, and if possible, I'd like to have my familiar, since they're a little owl, just kind of flutter in and take the help action for that first stab.
Okay, it flies in and is going to sort of like fly around the Hator's head, distracting and annoying it.
And that's 2 attacks I can make, is that correct? Or is it...
I don't know. Do your skeletons take 2 attacks?
They each have 1 attack, but there's a couple...
I understand your meaning. Yeah, there's 2 of them ahead. One of them will have advantage because of...
Correct.
Philoctitis.
Perfect. Okay.
Philoctitis. Full of titties.
Yeah, Philoctitis, yeah. Okay, so first attack's going to be a 16 to hit due to the advantage.
That'll hit.
Alrighty, and that's going to be a D8.
Exoskeleton, my eye. In the books, they play up like how much AC Hakors have, but anyway.
So that's a 1 on the die plus 5. So that's 6 damage on the first stab.
Nice.
Then, oh, that's not great. That's only a 7 to hit on the second.
I will not hit. Its exoskeleton is way too strong. It strikes and glances off its hard shell, impossible to penetrate by anything but the most skilled of blows.
Got it. Alrighty. And that's going to be, I see there's another side tunnel.
Yep.
Do I know if that circles around into the main chamber?
Nope.
Okay.
It's the first time you guys have been in this hall, so it'd be a bit of a risk if you ran in that direction.
I'm just going to have my little aid skelly move into that tunnel to kind of cut off anything approaching from there.
Runs over here and kind of like looks down the tunnel and turns around and gives you a...
Got it. And I do have like fine control of them because he's using bonus action. Can the ones that haven't used their action just ready an action to stab any enemy that comes in range?
Yeah.
Cool. All
Absolutely.
right, and that'll be my turn.
Nalys loves being on the back line. They love it back here. Nalys is going to take out their 2 moon chakram. Do we have any cool bonus actions or reactions here? No, we do not. So Nalys is just going to take out the 2 moon chakra. Oh, we have spells though, magic and such. That's not helpful right now. That's not helpful right now. None of those are helpful. Okay, is just going to use the 2 moon chakra, and it's going to begin throwing it. Straight rolls. It's 2 attacks. 1 will hit as it buzzes by the creature, and the second will hit as well. So the chakram, he sort of sends it out of his hand, and it tears through the actual exoskeleton of the creature, like over its shoulder, and then it whizzes around like a frisbee and like cuts it over the back and catches it on the backhand. That's going to be... Come on, brain. 21 points of slashing damage from the 2 moon chakra. What number did I just say? 17? No, I said 27. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, that will bring us back around to Zarvog, who is going to just take a hunter's mark. That sounds like something we would do.
Yeah. And also, Zarvog's a Gloomstalker, correct?
Correct.
So if that lead Hakor has to use dark vision to see him, I believe he'd have advantage in all of his attacks now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I let him get to be so strong? I should have killed him long ago. No, so anyone who relies on dark vision to see... Yeah, that's right. Anyone who relies on dark vision to see him can't perceive him, and thus they're blinded to him, especially now that the echolocation is gone. You are right, Glint. What a catch. Good job.
Nice.
So he's like, all right, motherfucker, prepare to eat lead. Which is pretty much what's going to happen. Putting on themselves. Hunter's mark. That will hit. What's your bonus eyeball? Please have an 8 at least. Yep, that'll hit. All right, that's 2 hits. It's going to be 3, 6, 15. It's going to be 19, 20, 26 points of damage to the Hakor. He's like, I want to show off. So I'm going to. And he's going to do an action surge. He's going to do all that again because he's feeling himself today. Natural 20. And we'll just do that attack now because that might just deal the job. 3, 13. That's 19. 23. Oh, we're going to do that. And 23, that's going to be 27 additional damage on the crit. And that one falls to the ground dead. And Zarval blows the end of his crossbow and fires one last time. Oh my god, it's completely upside down. That's ridiculous. The hell is this Rayman? I'm glad someone got that right. That's awesome. Okay, it's going to take his last shot. This will be a straight roll because echolocation is working over there for that guy. And that one is going to miss. Damn it. Damn it all. I'll never forgive the Japanese. That'll bring us to Nyx's turn.
I'd like to cast Thunder Wave since they work with echolocation. It should throw them off.
Hey, that's pretty smart. Let's see if we can get you in the range to cast that because he's pretty far back. I think it's going to be a little far because it's got to be originating from you, and this dude is pretty far off from you. You might need something with a little bit more range. He's about, we're going to call that 55 feet off.
What about Shatter?
Shatter? Ooh, Shatter's a great move. Okay, yeah, let's do a little Shatter. Fantastic, and it will damage the cave, which might end up coming in handy. Maybe a little extra help from the roof. That could be a really good idea. Let's take a look. So 10-foot sphere, excuse me. 10-foot Brittany spear. Come on now. So you can just fill that hole with energy. You take out one of your instruments. We'll say you take out your panpipe and just blow on it in such a high note that it sends out residual magic through the air, and a huge blast is going to explode out. He needs to make a con save. I rolled too many dice. I'm going to roll. That is a failure. Go ahead and roll 3d8 thunder. No, a failure for him. That's a success for you. Sorry. He failed. Yes. Roll 3d8 thunder damage.
Total 14. 1 + 6 + 7.
14. Not bad. This huge blast of energy goes out. It's going to largely hit the cave. So I'm going to say some of that rubble is going to come off of the ceiling and crash down on top of the creature, because it does say that it does. It has a little extra something when hitting inorganic material such as stone. So I'm going to say a bunch of rocks crash on its head. I'm going to give you. Sure, let's do it. I'll give you. It's going to be 14 points of bludgeoning damage additional, as like a great number of hard stones smash and crack into the back of its exoskeleton. Well done, Nyx. Is there anything else you'd like to do? Bonus action movement.
I think that's it for now.
Let me take a couple roof pieces out because you just smashed to smithereens. Okay, fantastic. Well done, Nyx. That'll bring us to the very inspired Finch. Finch, would you like to try and go take it out?
I'm gonna try. Yeah, can I get past the skelly boys?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 will get you right there. I'm gonna have a little mercy here because you have 30 feet. I'm gonna say that it's stumbling around like so excessively because of the shatter, like harming its echolocation. I'll give you the 5 feet. Go ahead and take your attacks if you want.
Okay, let's go for it. That is a 19 on the dice. Well, does a 19 hit?
19 certainly hits, yes.
Okay. All right, so let's do that. Ooh. That is 9 points of bludgeoning damage, but I think I'm going to smite on top of that, because why not?
Well, you have your branding smite in there as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let me get that out of the way. Hang on.
Sweet. So we got 9 bludgeoning. Go ahead, your branding.
My B. Yep, 9,
No
and then
problem.
that's D6. Okay, that's 4. And that is another 7 radiant.
7 radiant from the branding smite. You want to throw divine smite on top of that?
No. Trying to be conservative. But I will use the bardic inspiration to add another D8 on top of that, which is another 7.
Another 7 damage. All right, you hit pretty hard thanks to Nyx. That is a bloodied Hakor. Well done. Is there anything else?
I get one more
extra attack. Yeah.
Okay. That's a nat 20.
Yeah, ouch. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's that, and then and I'll smite on top of that too. Why not? Why not?
Okay.
You rolled a 20. You got it, right?
Yeah, right?
You got a sneak attack. You got a smite. You got to do all the things.
That's 32 points of damage total then.
Ouch. Is it still alive? Nope. How would you like to smash this exoskeleton of this Hakor?
Ooh, let's see here. They're pretty big. Always like a good, just a good backhand. Maybe like the first, just like the first hammer swing, like clock them and then just like finish them off. Backhand.
Got it. So you push the skeletons aside, charging in shield first. As it goes to bring its hook down on you, you bring your hammer up high and smash it in the chest with a resounding crunch. You leave your brand on him that says like Finches, so it's like F with an S beside it, and it's like, what the fuck? And then you go onto the side and you crack it into one of those like rib cage bones that are out, and you hit it with such force that snaps through the bones and crushes the interior of the creature, and it falls dead.
Poor little guy.
And with that, the battle is won. You guys have defeated these most territorial hunters and can proceed on your way if you wish.
Question: whenever you say the rib bones were exposed, is that like a natural thing? Are they starving? Are they just?
Oh no, it's natural because they're exoskeleton, right? So it's a very strange creature. They are they're like mammal-esque looking in certain portions, but because they're exoskeletons, like the rib cages are on the outside of their skin.
So weird.
Yes, Yvaine.
Can Yvaine make a check to see if there's anything that could be harvested?
There most certainly is. It will take a while to do it, though, if you wish to.
Would I be able to make a roll to know how long it would take so that the group could make a determination?
It would take at least 2 hours to do. I've been kind of figuring that it takes like 2 hours to do like a large creature. I have just kind of don't know. I don't really have a solid mechanic for that, but for a creature of this size, yeah.
I will convey that to the group and leave it to a vote as to whether or not we should take this apart or move forward.
Zarval could carve one while you carve the other. It'll take 2 hours. Nalys and Zarval have both spoken, and their estimations say that you guys could get there like before the end of the day if you keep going. If not, you're gonna have to sleep in the Underdark.
I think we press on.
Then we press on.
Yeah. leave the Hucktor corpses behind, and continue on into the Underdark, where you will be fraught with no more danger. It's not a long journey, but it does take, you do walk for like a good 7 hours through the Underdark, and you go down and high and twisting and turning through all these strange tunnels. You're relieved that Nalys has received enough prophecy that he can help direct Zarvolk's keen ranger focus and keep you guys from getting lost. And eventually, you are all going to find yourselves ascending up out of the black tunnels and into a most frosty realm. Give me a second. Well, oh no, I did the wrong thing. Don't look. It's okay, you can look, it's fine. Here we go. Oh my god, still don't look. No, you can look, it's fine. That was the last time I'm doing that. Okay, you guys ascend up out of the Underdark, and you are going to find yourselves standing in this like Arctic, let's see here. Mysterious place is fitting for this. You guys find yourself ascending up and out, and in the dark of the frozen north. It's very much sort of like this large rock formation grotto. Not so much a grotto, but it is like the sky is up above. You can see the stars now. You've ascended out of the Underdark. And it is sort of surrounded by much larger stone shells. So you're in this sort of like pocket of open air. But in the center of that open pocket air is this very large, rocky, icy, snowy formation that has felt the Arctic's touch for a very long time. You have ascended, and Nalys and Zarvolk have been talking. Nalys says, "This could be it. I'm not sure. We should investigate, though. It's under the stars and under the moon, and that's good enough for me for an investigation."
I'd be happy to take a look. So this is like a big rocky outcropping, you said?
Yeah. It is
like
as it looks here. Just imagine that it's like surrounded by like a wall.
It's like a
of
mesa.
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this formation seem natural for the surrounding terrain?
Make me a nature check. You'll have advantage because of stone cutting.
Alrighty. Will the stone cunning double proficiency apply as well?
Oh, okay. So if that's the case, then you will just roll straight with double proficiency because you are a cool dwarf.
Got it.
About stones.
Yeah. So let me double check what my bonus should be. I know I'm considered proficient, and then I double the proficiency, and then it's plus intelligence, and I have a luck stone. So that should be
just
12. Okay.
So roll the normal check and just add your proficiency bonus again. Is what I said.
Okay. That'll be a 20 total.
20 total. The stone structure itself, yes. You're like, yeah, this is a pretty natural formation. There are portions of it around here where it's a little contradictory, where the stone sort of tells you a story, where the rock formation itself looks natural. You can see that not by tool, but by some other means, the stone has been like smoothed out in different places. Certain openings have been made to like enter to the interior of it. You're not sure how, probably by magic maybe. And lastly, you'll know that it is like particularly covered in ice. Like it is like particularly icy here, more than you would expect. So the stone is natural. It looks like it's been shaped by perhaps magic or some other non-tool based means. Here and there, probably for like medium-sized creatures. No dwarves, nothing with that kind of skill level. And there is like a particularly large amount of ice just to review.
Something shaped this place in a manner that isn't simply erosion. I think this is the place, and there may be some source of elemental cold here, perhaps a portal to an elemental plane or some object, because that cold does not seem wholly natural no more than the warmth in Lyrengorn does. If this isn't the place, it is certainly a place in need of investigation.
Okay. So let's be within and be cautious that we're probably not going to be alone. That's what you're saying.
That is my expectation.
You will notice two obvious entrances just from where you stand. There was one on a high ridge here. It will require some climbing to get to, but there is an entrance up there. And then there is one that is actually on ground level right there.
Do we have any preference of approach, friends?
No, should we send a scout first?
Certainly.
Zarvog will take his big wings and wrap himself up and disappear, or hopefully disappear. That is going to do the job, probably. That's going to be 23 on the stealth. He disappears, leaving the doggo behind. Give it about a moment if you be so kind. There we go. He leaves, comes back maybe, so you wait, 5 minutes go by, and then around the 7-8 minute mark, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but certainly less than 10, Zarvog does return, slinking through the shadows. Goes, okay, there's lots of stuff in there. There's you're talking about some stone pictures on the wall thing. There's a huge one in there, actually. Super decorative or whatever. And there's a lot of ice, and a lot of snow on the inside. But there's also a lot of like druidy looking people, but they're all frozen in the ice. Yeah, so that's what I saw.
They're frozen in the ice?
In the ice, that's right, inside of it. Don't know how long ago it was because they're frozen. It could have happened 5 minutes ago, it could have happened 5 years ago.
Understood.
Understood.
Lock and load, people. Takes the crossbow out.
Let's
You'll be
see.
ready. All right, you're going in. Is there a marching order?
Glint's gonna keep 3 skeletons towards the front, and then have 2 kind of fall back with him and have their crossbows out instead of the shields, if that's all right.
Got it. So 3 skellies in the front, and 2 in the back. Oh boy, it's quickly getting complicated. Or at least just because of the snow in the way. All right, I'm gonna put you in front of the door. Make my life easy.
Yeah.
Oh god, you know what? We're just gonna walk inside and we'll do the walk-through formation as you go through the door. Okay, so this is perfect actually. So we go through the door. We got 3 skellies in the front. Who's following the 3 skellies in the front?
I think usually it's Zar and then Finch.
Zar and Finch, you guys can be side by side if you want.
That's fine.
We'll say that Ben is on the front line as well, with skelly number 3. Who is after Finch? I'm gonna put Beverly because Beverly is a squire after all. Who's next to Beverly?
Yvaine would like to be next to me. Beverly,
Okey-dokey.
please.
Yeah, no problem. Happy's sort of like near your feet, sort of shivering sadly at you, and is like making a gesture at you that you know means like hot chocolate, please.
Oh no! Of course.
Is there? Who would be after them?
I'll follow there.
Follow Glint. Who's walking with Glint?
Nyx can go there. I'll take the last position.
Understood. Which leaves 2 skellies in the back. I'm not mistaken, we caught everybody. Okay. You wander on inside, cautiously making your way. You guys wander on inside, and you are going to see very quickly all kinds of stuff. You are going to see, indeed, the interior of the cavern is largely frozen. There is a, I didn't put it in here, but I'm going to do it right now, actually. There's a big old hole in the roof that shows the aurora sky up above. You see the not quite as prevalent as yesterday, or 2 days ago, but the Moonweaver's ribbons still sort of like flowing through the sky. But as you are down and within the actual cavern itself, you see, the walls are just coated with ice, absolutely coated with ice. There is some dead things here and there. You see like the corpse of a horse in one portion. But most potently, or pointedly, I should say, as you make your way through the cavern and get to about here, coming around the bend, you are going to see a massive, wait for it, the moon's got to point at it for a second here. Come on, moon. Okay, we'll just try to explode it. You see a very strange, almost ruin-like formation in the wall ahead. Let me give you a proper description of what you see. You see, there's ice coated along, and this is clearly a very hidden beneath layers of frost and ice, or portions of frost and ice, not entirely. But you see an ancient stone-carved mural stretching across the back of the cavern walls, telling a tale. It is illuminated faintly by magical glowing firelights that seem to make or cast no light, painting an ethereal blue on the wall. Only one actually makes the illumination. Would anyone like to approach or attempt to interpret what the wall is meaning to say? Yvaine, yes. Yvaine, you go ahead. Nalys will go ahead with you and provide you advantage because he is similarly interested in the lore here.
I don't think Glint has the self-preservation to trump his curiosity to not approach as well. He'll go with them.
The three of them.
Okay, this is a bad idea.
Approach.
Oh,
well,
absolutely.
That's why the wizard has minions to guard him, right? So he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot to put Nalys in altogether. Yeah, I'm here, says Nalys. Yeah, I exist. Glint, you can make so he will provide advantage. These will be investigation checks to interpret the wall. Nyx, if you wanted to try and interpret the wall, I give you advantage because you're a bard, and you are a storyteller. This is what you do.
Okay.
Investigation, all right.
We'll put Nyx up there as well. We'll say the team kind of just moves over there. Beverly will provide light for everybody. She'll kind of like stand near the wall, and when you guys are like, oh yeah, move to the left, she'll kind of walk around with the glowing moon spear. The skeletons will just kind of like keep an eye on the scholars of the group.
That's a 27.
Damn, who else? Who else made a roll?
For investigation?
That's right.
Ugh. 6 + 3 is 9.
6 + 3 is 9. You're like, this isn't really my speed, and then we're not really into like dungeon or whatever. So you're not really, you're kind of interpreting it, but not as well as Glint will. Yvaine?
It's a dirty 20. It's 16 on the dice plus my investigation.
Dirty 20, fantastic. So you guys are here. I just want to set the scene because I like having the minis of a nice little immersive pack. But you scholarly types will be up there with Beverly as she's shining her spear.
The people with no self-preservation.
Yeah, well, that's why that's why wizards have conjuration, so they don't have to worry about security, right? Everyone else, like Zarval, and Ember, and Finch, are like actively being ready for whatever's about to jump out, if anything. Okay, so here's what you will see. The carving wall tells, so Yvaine and Glint, you're going to interpret this. Nalys will as well, for having provided the help action. It tells the tale of two legendary heroes. You see that it goes from left to right, as all writing does. You see that the first panel tells of, it depicts some kind of heroic, noble figure in a radiant, in a suit of magnificent plate armor depicting a sun right on the chest with various sashes down below. The armor gleams with divine light, and the hero stands tall and proud, a face determined and resolved, leading an army into battle against monstrous foes long ago. Sun's rays emit from the hero, casting large wings across its back and illuminating the darkness, and inspiring their allies. You would interpret some of the symbology here to mean the Dawnfather, in the sense that this was some kind of warrior champion of the Dawnfather, who fought in a war long ago. We'll come back around and make deductions, or actually we can do it a section at a time if you want. There's only 5 sections, but is there any additional rules you'd like to make on this particular section?
Is there any accompanying text, or is it purely mirroristic?
Per your investigation checks, I will say that you find a couple little bits and fragments here and there, but largely covered by ice. Do either of you speak Celestial?
I do not, but I do have comprehend languages as a ritual.
I do.
Right. Finch does, though. You call the literal angel up. Give me a second. You read the inscription, Finch. It says, Oraram Ferret Materiam Laminam in Corlium, which is about halfway through the sentence. It's like the beginning and end of the sentence has been cut off, but that section says, bears the Dawn Martyr's plate into battle. If anyone wants to roll a history check on what that means, they go right ahead. A history or Arcana check, I'll allow either.
Sure. I do like my Arcana checks.
This is the archaeology section of the campaign.
Okay, so at disadvantage from exhaustion, that'll be a 22.
22. You know that the Dawn Martyr's plate is an active vestige of divergence in the world today. A great hero from Vox Machina named Pike Trickfoot is the current bearer of the Dawn Martyr's plate, a piece of plate armor that was worn most famously by... Give me a second here. I need to go find their name. I'll take 10 seconds. Maybe less if I'm lucky. Yes, the Plate of the Dawn Martyr. It was most famously wielded by Duona, High Priest of the Dawn Father, when she was martyred in the Battle of Gordranus in the final days of the Calamity. So you expect, with all of this wrapped up together, you expect that this is actually this figure is sort of like male in appearance. So you expect that this was whoever the bearer of the Dawn Martyr plate was before this Duona the Martyr.
So this might have been during the time of the Calamity then.
Yeah, you probably interpret that this is a hero of the Calamity that this mural depicts.
I believe this is referring to one of the vestiges of divergence. I think this might be a recounting of actions taken during its bearer during the Calamity. I don't wholly see what they were fighting.
You see a number of monsters. They're fairly undescript. It's like what you expect to be like demons or monstrosities or devils or just like a smattering of evil creatures against the army that he leads into battle.
It's unusual that a shrine to a wearer of the Dunmother plate would be as frozen as here, though, isn't it?
Oh, this is reaching. Never mind. No, that's. Is there any connection with like different types of things with different types of energy? Like, would you normally see a celestial wielding radiant energy? Would you usually see an infernal creature wielding fire? Do you know what I'm saying? Is there something that usually wields ice? Am I wrong? Does this sound ridiculous?
No, it's understandable. I mean, I know a couple out of character offhandedly, but I assume rolling would be better for this, right?
You're asking if you know of any creatures that wield ice?
Yeah, like the supernatural.
I've been asked this a couple of times. That's a very open-ended question. Mm-hmm. There is like a humongous plethora of creatures that could possibly wield ice.
In this case, it'll be narrowing it down into specifically like outsider type entities, whether that be devils, demons, celestials, the kind of thing that would come in and have an influence on a place of this size, and would also potentially be connected to the kind of stuff we've been dealing with up till now, I imagine.
That's still a gargantuan smattering of creatures. Even if we're taking out monstrosities, beasts, humanoids, like if it's just aberrations, celestials, fiends, like that's still a huge plethora of creatures. So I think to just simply say what wields ice, that's like there's like
what?
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Do we want to move on to the next section, or do we want to? Is there another question?
Zarbal could
mention.
Only the
first of 5.
Yeah, we can move on for now. I'll ask more questions, I think, whenever we finish the investigation.
Okay.
It's better to draw conjecture whenever you have all the loose threads together.
Got it. I'm going to hold both of your very high investigations for just the general assessment of all of the panels. I'll just sort of carry them over for just a general assessment, and then we'll roll more specific ones. So the second panel depicts an elegant figure holding a shining, thick but ridged, an elegant long sword that seems to glow with an otherworldly light. The hero seems to be blessed, as there are symbols of the Moonweaver here and there, blessed by that goddess herself. The hero is depicted amidst a swirling mist with illusions that confuse and outmaneuver her enemies. The sword shines brightly, cutting through the shadows and revealing hidden dangers. I will say that there is another sort of little section that Finch could interpret if Finch so felt wanting.
I do indeed.
You referenced another vestige of divergence that was a unique sword tied to the Moonweaver during the festival, didn't you?
Yeah, roll me a history or arcana check.
Okay, because I remember Glint recognized it during that, but I don't think I wrote down the name for it.
You would read, there's a small section, Finch, that is still revealed that says Honolea in Proelio, which basically means by Honolly during the battle. Oh, sorry, that would be Honolly Suncloak during the battle of ...
That one's just a 15. Rolled a 3.
A 15. That's fine. You've already interpreted this information. So it would be Only Sol Paleum in Provaleo, and that's Suncloak is added in there. Okay. Yes, you recall a vestige of divergence, known as Star Razor, a beautiful blade that was constructed by both the Wild Mother and the Moonweaver, united in their love for the fragile world and determined to protect it. So this was a vestige created by both gods and bestowed on a champion or one or the other. It is a blade that is said to have the ability to cut through illusions and be an excellent weapon in battle.
I think this is either a shrine to potentially heroes of the calamity, or maybe, I think we'd have to read more, but it seems to be the direction it's taking, isn't it?
Next section.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Section 3. The third panel shows both heroes standing together, hands clasped under the light of both the sun and the moon. The Dawnfather and the Moonweaver look down upon them with approval, and their divine symbols etched into the sky above. The marriage ceremony is crowned with both allies of mythical creatures and possible heroes in attendance, symbolizing the union of their strength, of their love. So these two heroes were married under the light of their gods.
The Dawnfather and the Moonweaver.
I mean, it makes sense. They're both prime deities.
Poetic, yeah.
You will see in the fourth panel the climax of the mural. In fact, sort of depicted like most largely above all of it, as if it is the most crowning event. It depicts the two heroes united in a fierce battle against some kind of evil elf, bearing terrible magics and sinister apparel. The two heroes fight side by side, combining their powers, creating a harmony of light and shadow to battle the drow in an intense fight. And that's what you see. It's just them all, like, the three of them engaged in battle, fighting this, like, evil, like, drow queen. She's wearing a crown. She's, like, looking like very evil.
This is likely some major conflict with the followers of Loth during that time.
And last section, you will see the two heroes. So you'll see the queen sort of dead, laid dead, this drow queen, elf queen laid dead. And the two heroes, now older and wiser, so like the male has like a longer beard. The woman, you can sort of see like the wrinkles put into the face of her sculpture, bestowing the sword and the armor upon new bearers, and then on new champions to use them, and then sort of walking away from battle as these like new heroes bear the weapons and armor. And the last section has like a massive, like intentional crack down the side. It's like got like there's very clearly like a smashing through the wall and like 4 jagged claw marks like across the edge of the mural. So the last portion of it, so like it doesn't fully show the like them exiting the battle. It shows them exiting the battle, and there's like smashing along the end of the mural, and that is the end of it. The details, and I'm going to give this to you, Glint, because you're a dwarf, because you care about the stonework and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The mural style is very ancient, remarkably detailed for its time, and each figure is carved with absolute precision. You get the sense that the artist might have used different textures to distinguish between elements, such as the smooth, sort of like a smoothing of the armor to make it appear more polished, along with intricate details and patterns into the sword of the Hero of the Moon. The background features shows stark, cold beauty with Arctic landscapes, jagged ice formations, and blasted mountainscapes. It's really, really well done, and it is done with a meticulous care of someone who had a passion for this work, not someone who was just leading this here as like a quick message or something. Someone who meticulously worked on this with care.
Yeah, this is basically like a cathedral in terms of the amount of detailing into it, I imagine.
That's right. I want to ask Ember, what is your passive investigation?
16.
A 16. You are going to notice something. So the party is standing there. Nyx is kind of like in the back line. Yeah, like kind of like following along with you guys as you interpret it. Yvaine and Glint are taking the lead. Finch is interpreting the celestial writings that are revealed. And Beverly's running around with a spear, sort of like glowing things. You notice, unlike everybody else who's focused on the details, you notice something about the light that is being created from the moon-touched spear that Beverly is wielding. You think you might be detecting a little bit of an illusion. The mural itself might have sort of an illusory factor. Just as she moves the light of the spear near towards the stone, it's almost as if like the stonework kind of like the coloration sort of like washes out a little bit. It's very subtle, but everyone's a little too focused on everything else and you catch it.
Hey, Beverly? Can you wave?
Yeah.
You wave that around just a little bit more?
Okay. Like, yeah, sure. Like that?
Yeah. Glint, what do you make when just watch the light against the wall? Is it me or does that seem odd?
With Ember pointing it out, would Glint be able to notice?
I'd like you two to make me investigation or perception checks. It's your choice.
You said you two, did that include Yvaine?
That's just Ember. The two of them were doing it.
That is a 21 total on investigation,
Nice.
not perception.
Got it. What about you, Ember?
I rolled a 1 for a 7.
All right, you're catching like the little portions, but you defer to Glint's sort of expertise as an investigator, as a investigative wizard. And Glint, you notice that like yeah, the color does kind of wash out, doesn't it? But at a certain point, as she's like waving the spear around, you see that like when the spear touches the actual beams of moonlight that are coming through the hole in the top of the sky. So when the light of the spear interacts with the true moonlight of the moon up above, it creates a larger effect on the background. You can almost see a sort of translucent, icy effect here.
Hold
Only
it
on the
there.
middle panel, the third panel.
If you could hold it right there.
Okay.
I have an idea. This is depicting a union between agents of the Dawn Father and the Moon Goddess. So your moonlight is having an impact, maybe sunlight or firelight or radiant. I think we need to join sun and moon together.
So you will recall, or Yvaine you will recall, more than anybody else, this spear that you made it from fine relics, like fine gemstones that are expertly carved and made this like beautiful ornamental, but still combat capable spear. And that spear was blessed by the Moonweaver under no attention to yourself. So this thing became magic by the grace of the goddess, not by anything you did other than memorializing this weapon in her honor. So this spear has moonlight inside of it, and that's where the light comes from. It's like a silvery white light. So as it touches the real moonlight, you see that it almost enhances the effect on the back wall. And everyone's kind of seeing it now. So the whole party's starting to kind of see this barely translucent effect appearing whenever the light of the spear touches the light of the moon on the wall.
Can I also check out that center mural as well, with that effect kind of happening to it with the moonlight?
Yeah, you go over and you touch it a couple times, and then when you touch a portion where the two lights intersect on the wall, you feel like your hand, it doesn't go through, but your hand does kind of like start to like meld through the stone a little bit, and then when the light goes away, kind of like bounces back as if it were suddenly formed into rubber and bounces back and solidifies the stone once more. You are fairly certain you are dealing with a complex illusion.
Glint will convey that. And then on the screen share, I see that one of the braziers is lit, the other is not. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is there like an actual thing to light there, whether it's a fuel source or something else?
Yeah, it's like a brazier.
Can I just flick a firebolt, or you can do it as well?
I'll just produce flame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you want it lit? Done. Fire
yeah,
I can do.
Yeah, fire I can do. Ember, you are the master of flame here, and pyromantically, you snap your finger and a little flame ignites up there. And it stays, but it starts to quickly begin to die down. As there's not a lot of fuel within the brazier. Nothing particularly special actually happens other than the lighting of the brazier. It starts to die down.
I think we either need more moonlight or we need to add sunlight. But to fully bathe this central image,
I mean, if you want moonlight, I can call moonlight. That's not a problem.
Give that a...
Nalys will say, no, wait. We've got enough moonlights. What we need is a believer. And he'll put his hand on the small of your back, Yvaine, and kind of like gesture you forward and say, try faith.
I'm going to walk forward and just dispel magic.
Okay. So here's what we'll say. We'll flavor that. You walk forward. Beverly's like got the spear pointed just right. You put your hand on the intersecting portion between the spear's light and the moon's true light on the wall. You conjure the spell in your hand and you like touch the wall. And as you do so, veins of magic will go through and up the walls, the cracking, many cracks of ice, as if too much weight was borne on a thin ice of the river. And all at once, shatters into like glittering ice that begins to fall to the ground, harmlessly passing through all of you, illusory-like. And you are going to see a mighty door welcoming you. Oh, we'll get rid of that guy. A mighty door welcoming you beyond. And you seem to have done it. You have found some path forward. Get out of here, you. There we go. Now it's perfect. Some door beckoning you forward. You can't see it, but his eyes say like, Nalys approves of that. In this moment, in the back of the cavern, you hear, excuse me, you there. And you'll turn around, all of you. I think Zarvog will like have his crossbow pointed at him, being the most aware of that. And you're gonna see this like old druidy looking guy approach you all. He's got like white pelts all over his body. He's got like sort of ice sort of forming on the side of his face a little bit. He has haggard eyes. He looks very thin, a little very old, a little pathetic, and he has like a number of totems hanging off him. Very Arctic druid looking. He goes, How did you get through?
The keen eyes of a pyromancer and the zeal of a faithful believer, I suppose.
Right, of course.
And who are you, friend?
Me? I am the last druid of my circle. Yes, you see, we were attacked many years ago by a mighty powerful dragon, and it killed most of my circle, most of my tribe. We made this place to venerate and try and interpret the mural, but we never unlocked the secrets like you did. But then the monster came. It was savage and grand, and it stalked us by night. It picked us off one at a time until there wasn't enough of us to bend the circle, and then froze us as we stood wherever we were. It was a great terror that fell before us that day. The beast was felled, but I am the last survivor.
Yvaine's gonna walk up to him.
So you walk up to him and he kind of sort of looks at you. He looks very twitchy. He's like, as you approach, he gives you Gollum vibes. a little bit.
Easy, friend. My name is Yvaine. I am a druid of the Ashari, faithful of the Moonweaver. We're sent here to find something.
I see. Very, very, very interesting. And you mean to go in there and seek out whatever it is?
Yes, will you share with us what you know?
I don't know much. I know the dragon came in its terrible battle and it destroyed that portion of the mural over there. Was rather frustrated it could not get in. But that's when we killed it, you see. It's been removed long ago. But I'm the only one left. Many were wounded. And I was the only one who survived. So, but we have been here for a very, very long time, years beyond reckoning, trying to interpret the magics of this place and protect it from evil.
If I might ask, and you built the surrounding place to venerate the Moonweaver?
We did. Yes, we didn't build the mural, but we have been here for a long time.
The door only showed itself to the faithful. You claim to be a faithful follower of the Moonweaver, then why did it not show itself to you?
No. We are followers only nature and its primal magics. We do not venerate the Moonweaver. We simply came to this place and knew it important.
Interesting. I apologize. Where are my manners? My name is Glint. What is your name, friend?
It's me? My name is Glaxon. That's my name, yes.
Are you all right? Because you seem to be acting a little oddly.
I'm fine. I just have been here for so long and haven't seen anyone nearly, how long now? Nearly 50 years, you see.
A very long time.
Yes. Very, very long. Very, very long. Yes.
Well, in that case, why don't I be slightly more hospitable? And Ember will gesture and create a bonfire. Please, warm yourself.
You create the bonfire and it kind of or he kind of moves away from it. He goes, no. I much prefer the cold, since it is the way of my people. The cold, the tundra.
If I might ask, before that final image was destroyed, what was upon it?
Let me think. He's gonna roll a check to see if he remembers. Because I I can't remember. I remember the other druid saying it wasn't important, or it couldn't have been that important. But the dragon destroyed it. I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Glint is going to pause a moment and then is going to ask in Draconic, did you destroy it?
I feel like there's a check here. There's a cool check here. I just need to figure out what it is. Let's call it a persuasion check. It's a very weird, unique check. Let's do it.
Okie dokie. I rolled the same thing twice, and I'm very lucky because I don't have a good persuasion bonus. I have a total of 0, but I rolled a natural 17. It's about as good as I can manage.
It looks at you and goes, me? You're smart. I'm not so smart, but I'm very big. And he goes down on all 4 legs, and big white wings will burst from his back, and he will emerge from the flesh, and a giant dragon of white scales and blue eyes will emerge from the back of this creature and let out a harrowing roar that will shake the very boundaries of this place. And we will roll initiative next session.
Of course we will.
Yeah, of course we will.
Yeah,
fantastic.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. I love that. Actually, I do.
Awesome.
I'm being. It sounds sarcastic, but I actually love Yvaine in the white dragon armor. Actually, is what she always wanted. I'm not at all being sarcastic. Like that's actually what she did want when I.
Dude turns into a dragon.
Already planning to.
I could wear these boots.
Yvaine says, "I'm gonna wear your skin."
Yeah,
in a weird way.